If he feels like he has it, he should take it.
With the winning run still standing at third base.
Freshman All-American gets a chance. If he feels like he has it, he should take it.
With the winning run still standing at third base.
Freshman All-American gets a chance to put his stamp on this ball game.
Here comes set. The 2-2 delivery. Got him looking. Called strike three.
On the ground. It's going to get through. Whoa, what a play. Alisea.
He leaps. And he got it.
Castillo not going anywhere. That one to left field. It's a question of how far.
Oh, leaping catch. What a play. Eddie King. Swing and a miss. Strike three.
With the 32nd, 29, 26, 10th, the 5th, the 4th, the first pick in MLB draft, the Pittsburgh Pirates select Henry Davis, a catcher from the University of Louisville.
For the first time in history, the Cardinals are going to Omaha. For the third time in 8 years, and for the fourth time in school history.
And Louisville, for the 5th time under Dan McDonald, is headed to Omaha, Nebraska.
You can't say Louisville and Omaha in the same sentence. A great story.
12 tournament champs.
It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon in Arlington for baseball as the season opening Shriners Children's College Showdown continues. Our second game of this Saturday tripleheader features Louisville, fresh off a walk-off win over Texas against 19th ranked Oklahoma State. Hi everybody, welcome to Globe Life Field, back alongside the former big leaguer Pat Combs. I'm Ben Wilson. Transformation, that's what head coach Dan McDonald of Louisville said was the theme to this year's team after they missed the postseason each of the last 2 years. After last night, they might have to change that word to resilience, Pat, with how they came back.
Man, no doubt, Ben. And it was really done in dramatic fashion. A couple of come-from-behind innings for Louisville. You know, first it was Garrett Pike hitting the game-tying run in the ninth, and then the game-winning run came off the bat of Lucas Moore for the Cardinals. What an exciting finish. They spoiled the debut of Jim Schlossnagle's head coaching debut with the Texas Longhorns, but what a dramatic win for Louisville last night.
One of the two unranked teams of the six in this tournament entering the Shriners Children's College Showdown. What a statement Louisville made. Lucas Moore with the heroics. You see how much it meant to them last night as Dan McDonald's ball club got the win. Now we take a look at the lineup for tonight. It's a little bit of a different look, especially toward the back end of the order. Our first look at catcher Tagger Tyson and second baseman Byram Hott, but some of the key pieces from last night, including Zion Rose, who had a big game, best overall hitter on the team. He remains in the number 2 hole. Those lineups brought to you by Shriners Children's, the best care anywhere. Louisville matching up against 19th ranked Oklahoma State. They lost a tight one by a single run, lost a 3-run lead in that 6-5 loss in the opener of our tournament to Clemson, but they love what they've gotten. Harrison Bodendorf, the Hawaii transfer, hoping to help the Cowboys bounce back. Bodendorf, the 6'5 junior, sees this defensive lineup behind him. Nolan Schubert, one of the best college prospects in the game. He's out in right field while they have a great young future shortstop. He plays second base today, and that is Brock Thompson. And with that, we're underway. Game 2 of 3 today as Bodendorf has really good feel for 3 different pitches, and that's what separates him on the mound. As Alex Alisea starts off with a high pop-up, that's Thompson being waved off by Schubert, and Nolan Schubert, the veteran, waves off the rook to make the play.
Yeah, late call in the outfield by Schubert coming in on that ball, but a good thing that Brock Thompson heard him and got down. Yeah, that would not be a collision that goes in Thompson's favor.
Near disaster averted as we get a nice look into the field at Nolan Schubert. We'll talk a lot about him when he's at the plate. In the meantime, for Harrison Bodendorf, fastball, changeup, sweeper sort of arsenal. What are you looking to see him establish early, Pat?
Yeah, Ben, you know, Josh Holliday knew coming into the season he and Rob Walton had a lot of work to do to replace that starting rotation last year. They lose their top 3 guys, Brian Holliday, Sam Garcia, and Carson Benj. They combined for 36 starts. So Bodendorf has got great stuff. You mentioned the nasty stuff, but it comes from a different arm angle. You see that low arm slot? It creates a ton of movement on those 3 pitches, the sinker, the sweeper, the change. He has really good command of all 3.
It's a pop foul from Zion Rose.
So you'll see a steady mix. Bodendorf will throw the changeup and the breaking ball, even behind the count, even 3-2 counts. But he wants to establish that sinking fastball early on against Louisville.
His Cowboy debut after 2 really good years at Hawaii, 9-5, just over a 4 ERA. Also had a good amount of work out of the pen, 7 saves. The 1-2 swung on and foul tipped right into the glove of Ian Doherty. Good start for Bodendorf in his debut.
Yeah, you accept most of those pitches to be down in the zone. That time raises the eye level of King, or of Rose. Able to get the strikeout up in the zone, and good start for Bodendorf.
That is the big question for Oklahoma State. As this ball is chopped to the left side, hangs up in the air and grabbed out of the air. A clean, soft line out from Matt Klein. Nice 1-2-3 inning. Harrison Bodendorf rocketing out of the gates. His Cowboys coming up to bat right after this.
Possibility. At Shriners Children's, we deliver healing to kids with critical burn injuries, like game-changing advances in regenerative medicine and creating the highest standard of care. We never allow your ability to pay for services to compromise the care your child needs, proving time and again what's possible by empowering the extraordinary. Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere.
Possible Missions and their dedicated Amegy business banker work together to put the us in business banking by sharing the same values both in the office and out in the community. Now it's your turn with your own dedicated Amegy business banker with banking experience in your industry. Because you're more than a customer, we're more than a bank, and together we'll help put your business on solid financial footing with comprehensive financing options, earned interest on your accounts, and yes, by being a true community partner. Here we collaborate. Here you grow.
After a clean top of the first for Harrison Bodendorf, it's the Pokes coming to bat. Lineup brought to you by Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere. All anchored by Nolan Schubert. Had a 2-run double last night. He's back in the 3-hole tonight. Avery Ortiz moves up from the 9-hole to the 6 slot after a solo home run yesterday. While we get the first career start of Garrett Scholl, who was a pinch hitter last night. Going up against the Louisville hurler Parker Detmers, his sophomore right-hander, and if that last name sounds familiar, Pat, it's because it should be. He's the younger brother of the former All-American at Louisville, Reed Detmers, now in the big leagues.
Yeah, great family legacy there, and on down to Parker, and of course that big body. He's got 6'4", 235. It produces a really strong right arm. They'll fastball will sit low 90s, and they'll touch 95 with it. Power slider sits mid 80s. And then a changeup, but he has really developed well since his freshman year. Put together a great summer in the Cape. And his head coach, Dan McDonald, super excited to see what Detmers can do in his first start of the season.
Misses just outside to Braden Smith. Top 5 in the order unchanged for head coach Josh Holliday. 6-5 loss for Oklahoma State yesterday, while Louisville won 4-3 in 10 innings over Texas. Smith takes a strike on 2-0.
Yeah, Smith, the transfer from Iowa Western, had a tremendous fall and carried that over into the spring. He, in many instances, led the Cowboys offense prior to the season.
Works it to 3-1. It's a Cowboy offense that is the strength of this club. 118 homers. That led the Big 12 a season ago. But they're a patient bunch too. And while this count goes to 3-2, they did lead the league in walks last year, 377. It all goes back to the identity set forth by head coach Josh Holliday.
Yeah, there's that high spin rate fastball. Braden Smith thought it was going to be down in the zone, but it stuck in that zone well. Yeah, Smith with some sneaky pop too. He's got some great exit velos. A lot of hard contact. Really aggressive leadoff hitter.
Works the opening AB to 7 pitches. And sees another. It's almost like he doesn't want the at-bat to end. He's looking for more.
That's right. Very active in the box. Jumps out of the box. And he brings a lot of energy to this lineup.
Another 3-2. Swing and a miss. Detmers wins the battle. Goes power fastball.
Yeah, 94 miles an hour outside corner and down, and he sticks the mitt of Tagger Tyson. Delivers the first out of the game via the strikeout against Braden Smith.
It's just the 3rd career start for Parker Detmers. Just 18 2/3 innings last year for so many young pitchers. Command is the thing, and it was a 14 walk to 17 strikeout ratio last year. Coaches know can get a lot better for Parker Detmers as he misses outside. Falls behind 2-0. Another newcomer for Oklahoma State this year in Jason Jones, who we watched a couple years ago, Pat, as a freshman. We were super stoked to watch him make his college debut at Arkansas. He fouls this one off, but it never materialized, never hit over 200 in his 2 seasons for the Hogs.
Yeah, that's a guy that came into college baseball with a lot of fanfare, and certainly had the stats in high school to prove it. But got stuck behind, as a lot of players do, get stuck behind some really good players at Arkansas, and just never really could put it together.
A little skew shot off the end of the bat, drops foul. As many players do, looking for a change of scenery now in the transfer portal era. And Coach Josh Holliday said it's all about running your own race. He said that applies to everybody on the team, but Jason is somebody who can specifically embody that. As you see Coach Holliday, 13th year head man at OSU.
Yeah, Jones is a really toolsy guy, and one of those really athletic players. You just expect big things, and if he puts it together this year, watch out. This lineup just got a lot better.
A rocket into center, but right at Garrett Pike for a loud 2nd out. It's Garrett Pike who had the 2-run single to send the game to extra innings last night. He gets rewarded after coming off the bench with a start in center field for Louisville. Byram Hott in there for the first time at 2nd, as is Tagger Tyson behind the dish. We'll show you in a second how this infield adjusts the shifts that a lot of teams use against Nolan Schubert, who takes the fastball outside.
Well, Schubert, highly regarded as one of the top players in all of college baseball, should be a high draft pick in this year's Major League Draft, but he has done nothing but tear it up since he arrived on campus in Stillwater.
That one pounded to right, but perfectly positioned is Michael Lippi, who makes the catch. Each starter goes 1, 2, 3 out of the chute. We're just getting started. We'll check in with Oklahoma State head coach Josh Holliday right after this.
Piece of land demands the very best equipment. Kubota equipment, the #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S. with professional grade mowers, versatile sidekick utility vehicles, and compact tractors that get it done right, all backed by unmatched dealer support. Talk to your dealer today to schedule a demo.
Elevate your ballpark experience with a tour of Globe Life Field and experience the home of the Texas Rangers like never before. Go behind the scenes and explore premium spaces, unique club settings, luxury suites, and more. Along the way, you'll discover rich history, impressive architecture, and fun photo opportunities around every corner. Globe Life Field's many tour offerings are sure to take your ballpark visit to the next level. For more information and to book your experience, visit globelifefield.com.
Nothing to the top of the 2nd is Oklahoma State head coach Josh Holliday kind enough to join us on the broadcast right now. Coach, a chance to watch a debutant in Harrison Bodendorf. What do you like about Harrison in the start he's gotten off to?
Well, Harrison's he's a very skilled pitcher. He's got a great heartbeat from the mound. Changes speeds exceptionally well. You see, kind of moves the ball in and out. Has an excellent changeup and a very unique release point that usually takes hitters some time to adjust to. So we're thrilled to have him. He had a good fall for us, and he's a guy we're counting on to have a really good year.
Josh Packholmes here. Great to see you again. And you know, I think you cheat a little bit because you've got one of the best pitching coaches in college baseball named Rob Walton. Just a great developer of pitchers. Of course, you guys lost a lot of innings last year, so I'm sure it's incumbent upon seeing what Bodendorf does as well as others to get fill those innings.
Yeah, well, first part of your statement, Pat, I couldn't agree with more. Rob's done an amazing job, and he's as good as there is, college or pro, when it comes to developing pitchers, helping guys understand who they are on the mound, and ultimately develop them and grow them. As far as replacing guys from last year, I mean, what an awesome thing that is to have to do when I think we had 5 or 6 guys drafted. Hopefully it doesn't go very far.
It's in no man's land, that old triangle, and it drops.
But going back to your question, you know, anytime you have that many quality guys pitch quality innings like last year and move on to the next level, it's just a good problem to have, and it's good growth inside of the program. You saw Gabe Davis get out there yesterday and give us a good start. He's emerging for us, as are several others. So it'll be a big part of the early part of our season and how we put these innings together.
You know, this is only the 5th year this ballpark has been around. Already your guys' 27th game here today at Gold Play. I mean, what's the process like, just getting so used to a place that has such a big role in your season, both at the start and at the end?
Yeah, it's a great point. I was actually thinking about that the other day. Obviously, with the conference tournament here, potential to play 4, 5, 6 games in the tournament each year, and then being invited to these tournaments to start the season. It's an unbelievable opportunity. 1, because it's great competition, but 2, what a setting to develop your team and play in front of great crowds. And this time of year, play in great weather, right? I mean, it's 72 and sunny inside this building every day. So it's a great place for college players to feel what it's like to be on the biggest stage in baseball, and also catch that one. May as well broadcast this with you guys.
There you go. Come on, man.
That was good play-by-play right there.
But yeah, but going back to your point, the people here at Globe Life and the people that run these tournaments and Rev Entertainment, they have treated us so wonderful every year. They just have welcomed Oklahoma State into this building, this facility, and they've made coming down to Arlington something we very much look forward to.
No doubt, Coach. We appreciate it as always. You joining us for a few minutes. Best of luck here rest of the way.
Thank you.
Our coach's interview is brought to you by Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere. It feels like this building just opened, and yet this is game 27 for Oklahoma State. They have a winning record here, like coming down. After that leadoff single from Jake Monroe, Eddie King flies out, and now it's Garrett Pike, one of the cogs in that Louisville comeback last night.
Yeah, I remember walking through this when they were constructing it. We got a tour and were able to kind of walk through and see what this looks like even before the seats were in. And I remember being asked, you know, what does this remind you of? And I said, you know what, it really reminds me of Minute Maid, but about 10 times better. It's just a beautiful place. You know, with the retractable roof, we've talked about that, you know, being open at some point, maybe not this weekend, but it is a great place to play baseball, and just a beautiful facility. Rangers have done an incredible job, and love what they have done with the college game, bringing multiple weekends with high competition. And we get to be a benefit of that next weekend as well.
No doubt. It's a good look at that roof that can open up. A 1 count to Garrett Pike, showing bunt, and does offer. Louisville loves to play small ball. They led the ACC in stolen bases last year, did a great job of putting the ball in play. Fewest strikeouts in the conference as well.
They just use their team speed so well, and there's so many things you can do when you have speed. One of those is just put the ball in play and let your wheels work for you. And Garrett Pike facing Bodendorf, who's just got nasty breaking stuff, lefty on lefty, and not a bad idea to try to drop one down.
Works the count to 1-2 on Harrison Bodendorf from Temecula, California. This is just outside. Reach back. It's 90 on the gun. Guy who grew up emulating the look of Barry Zito. And it just so happens he ended up growing into be very similar in stature to Barry Zito, the longtime A's lefty. At 6'5", 200 is Bodendorf.
Well, if his career can reflect anything close to Barry Zito, he'll be a happy dude.
No doubt.
Worth a lot of money, that guy.
Swing and a miss. It's Pike to Chase. Nasty sweeper. That's that unique pitch that tends to keep hitters off balance.
Yeah, and it is a nasty pitch. You know, it starts out on his hip. You see him just bail out. That pitch ends up in the right-handed batter's box. And Garrett Pike has seen plenty of left-handed breaking balls over his career. He doesn't usually look that bad on a breaking ball.
Michael Lippi now in the 7 hole, as you see Jake Monroe over at first after that bloop single to start the inning. Lippi, his first action in the field today after he was the DH. Went 1 for 2 yesterday. He takes a called strike.
When you face a pitcher like Bodendorf, the offensive approach has to be to get a pitch up in the zone. You'll see most of his pitches are dropping. The sinker drops, the slider, the sweeper, of course. Changeup breaks down and away from right-hander. They've got to get a pitch up in the zone where those pitches will typically flatten out.
Instead goes chasing on a changeup out in front, and it's 0-2. The arsenal, the look, it all resembles your rock-solid late-inning lefty reliever, but the fact that he can stretch out Bodendorf is a huge plus.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this goes for the Cowboys early in the season. As we talked about the innings that need to be replaced, but then you get to where you start to figure out your starting rotation. Then you have to go to work on bullpen roles and responsibilities, and that's a whole different puzzle.
1-2 to Lippi. 8 draft picks last year. 3 pitchers in the top 8 for Oklahoma State. Swing and a miss. Back to that sweeper. Gets Lippi to swing over the top. A pair of punch outs for Bodendorf in his second inning of work as it stays 0-0 to the bottom of the second.
First, at Shriners Children's, the world's most advanced scoliosis procedures are born here. In fact, we deliver access to the world's best doctors for nearly every pediatric orthopedic condition. We're delivering care without compromise is our promise. And kids can just be kids. Because being first always starts with empowering the extraordinary. Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere.
There's an old saying, everything's bigger in Texas. Well, let's just say, IndyCar is about to go to a whole nother level. Get ready, Arlington. This is where history is made, and champions are born.
Back at Globe Life Field in Arlington with a reminder that 6 remarkable kids have each teamed up with a participating university for the Shriners Children's College Showdown Team Fundraising Challenge. All weekend long, teams will compete to see which fan base can raise the most money in support of Shriners Children. Scan the QR code on your screen or visit shrinersshowdown.com to donate in honor of your favorite team today. And since the last time we showed that QR code on the screen, Pat, we've raised a couple $1,000s, and that is counting even higher. We're up over $75,000 now for the weekend. And just getting started. Looking forward to having the Louisville Shriners team captain Ryan join us in the booth a little bit later today.
There you go. The totals are climbing.
We can confirm the counter is working. It is on the move upward. 4, 5, and 6 for Oklahoma State in this bottom of the second. And Aiden Miola takes a called strike. Preseason All Big 12. It's a big role, the middle of the order, because Nolan Schubert will get pitched around a lot. You need the guys behind him to deliver. And this wave and a miss reflects what happened last night. Oklahoma State's 4 and 5 guys behind Schubert went a combined 0 for 8 with 5 strikeouts, hoping for better today out of Miola.
No, it's a great point, Ben, and you think about how good Schubert is, and he's going to gain the respect of every club they play against, and given the opportunity, they will want to pitch around him. And so it is incumbent upon Miola and Brueggemann, Ortiz, those guys, to offer some protection so that Schubert can get some pitches to hit.
3 pitches, 3 strikes as Miola's down swinging. Parker Detmers, the athleticism and the arm, never a question. It's just all about the command, and so far his command is on point. He now faces the big lefty Colin Brueggemann, just like Aiden Miola, preseason All Big 12 team. The big lefty takes a strike on the outside edge.
Well, Parker Detmers certainly looks the part. You talked about his brother Reed, and obviously ascending all the way to the big leagues now, but this guy could be right on his heels. He's got the body for it. You know, and look at the upside potential he's got. The velocity has just continued to climb year after year. And there's still a lot in that tank. He's very projectable to the next level.
Quickly ahead 0-2. Brueggemann just stays alive. Lots of talented college baseball players have gone to the Cape Cod League over the years. Many have struggled. It's a wood bat league. It's the best of the best. It's rare you see a guy who struggled as a freshman go to the Cape and just shove. But that's what Detmers did last summer. This is outside here, and that grew his confidence a ton in his time out there.
He sure did. And you know, it oftentimes for pitchers especially, it takes maybe a couple of 3 starts, get that confidence going. You know, this level, especially pitching in a Power 5 conference, it's day in and day out. It's a struggle. And look, when they get to the summer league, it is a chance to develop and work on, you know, adding pitches. But really, for Detmers, it was mainly gaining confidence.
Went to the Brewster Whitecaps, and it's not like the numbers were that good. This ball's tagged foul down the right field line. But so much of what Louisville's worked on with their process from pitching coach Roger Williams is focus on just that, the process. Don't worry about the numbers in those sorts of situations. And even though his ERA was almost 7.50, they felt like Detmers was a completely different guy. Here he looks in at Brueggemann. A 1-2 popped, foul, long run for Ali Saya. Oh, what a catch!
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
Wow. Well, it was a long run to begin with from his shortstop position. And then the absolute sacrifice of his body takes the padding just under his shoulder, kicks him back onto the field, but just to hang on to that ball, what an incredible play.
Man.
That'll be replayed a few times.
Alex Alisea, remember that name.
And you talk about an athletic shortstop, smooth with the glove and flashing some leather on a pop-up.
Not a big guy by any means. He's only 5'8", $165. He packs a lot of punch though in that frame and can get on his horse in a hurry like he did there. As it's Avery Ortiz now with 2 outs.
Yeah, showing some jumps as well. There's two different levels of the screen. The dugout has about a 4-foot screen that comes across the dugout. Then it rises up to about a 6-foot screen, which protects the field level seats. They actually have some suites on field level, and he nailed it.
Towering pop fly into shallow center. That is Garrett Pike with the catch, as it's another 1-2-3 inning for Parker Detmers, helped out by his defense. And how about the shortstop, Alex Alicea, the Louisville sophomore. Never say die, even when you got a railing right in your face, as he makes the catch at the inning.
Bowman Engineering and Consulting and their dedicated Amagi business banker worked together to put the us in business banking, which included the occasional lunch meeting. Now it's your turn with your own dedicated Amagi business banker with banking experience in your industry, because you're more than a customer. We're more than a bank, and together we'll help put your business on solid financial footing with comprehensive financing options, earned interest on your accounts, and yes, planning sessions whenever you need them. Here we collaborate. Here you grow.
Arlington, the Renegades are going full throttle this spring when the UFL returns.
What a catch!
Get ready for more action-packed football and unforgettable experiences at Choctaw Stadium.
That is something special right there.
Renegades, mount up and get your tickets today.
Welcome back to Globe Life Field, home of the Texas Rangers in Arlington. That is what they call Morgan's Booth. PA announcer here, and moved across the street from the old ballpark to the new, and all the sweet memorabilia they have, all the different games he's called. Pretty awesome stuff, especially for anybody who is a fan of the history of the game.
Yeah, no doubt. One of the best PA voices in all of professional baseball. Been around a long time.
Even though he's not here, his voice still greets you when you walk in.
Right.
That's how Mr. Morgan is so well known, and it's all part of the festivities and the ambiance of playing at a big league park this weekend. Louisville and Oklahoma State. 0-0 to the third, as we're about to see a couple debutantes. Taggart Tyson, one of 4 catchers in the mix for Louisville. He's got the count even 1-1. Not in his first year with the program, but did not play at all last year as a true freshman. Watches a changeup missed down and in, 2-1, and then on deck we'll see Byram Hott, who put up big numbers for Marist in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference last year. He just transferred in. Smacked back up the middle, off the glove of Thompson, who can't make the play. That was hot off the bat, 108 miles an hour, but a play the young freshman, who's an awesome shortstop, feels like he should have made.
Yeah, it was a hot shot off the bat, and it's one of those ones you almost have to make that split-second decision of, do you backhand it or do you try to get your footwork right and make the play from the front? But that was a tough shot. Off the glove of Thompson. It's going to allow Tyson to gain first base, but one of those in-between plays you just got to make that split-second decision on.
E4 on the second baseman Thompson. And now Byram Hott. Great last name for a hitter, and he was red hot for the Red Foxes of Marist. Scalds that one foul.
Yeah, freshman season hit for high numbers, but not a ton of power. But last year the power ticked up and had 7 home runs at Marist. Kind of took a dip in the average though, so trying to find that happy medium between putting up a high average and hitting for power.
Works the count to 1-1. Former MAC Conference Freshman of the Year. Neither starting pitcher has had a whole lot of stress. Bodendorf did have to work around a leadoff single in the second inning. Will attempt to do the same after the E4 behind him. It's hot. Sends that one foul. There's a lot of good history for, albeit brief history, but good for Louisville fans. And they think about this particular matchup. 4-2 all time against Oklahoma State, even though the Pokes have much more of the history and the accolades. Louisville beat Oklahoma State back in '07 to send Dan McDonald's team to their first ever trip to Omaha. It's a foul tip and into the mitt, gloved by Doherty for out number 1.
Yeah, great changeup off the hand of Bodendorf that time, and Hahn did a pretty good job of staying on it. Just swung right through it.
They normally say amazing defense then gets rewarded in the batter's box, and we're about to find that out with Alex Alicea. Another look at his amazing catch last inning.
Yeah, that was a rib shot. Padding hit him right in the ribs. You can say, yeah, it was padded, but yeah, he was going almost full speed when he made contact, and that's got to hurt a bit.
The sweeper just misses outside. I feel like on TV it looks really spongy. It looks like something you would just want to caress your body into. But no. If you ever go down there and you press against it, it feels basically like a rock hard wall.
Those pads in the outfield, same thing. They're pretty heavy.
So
not real soft.
On the change, yep. Hit a retie of the shoe out there at first for Taggart Tyson. That's a good look at all that padding behind Tyson. It's the same down the first and the third base lines. Looks so inviting. It's just not in reality. It's a great setup to watch a game for the fans. They've done a great job making all parts of the park viewing friendly. As a bunt is shown, then pulled back, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, definitely a different view. If you've never been down to watch a game, you're really kind of below the field, almost eye level with their kneecaps, but it does offer a different perspective.
Something we have not seen at all this weekend. Now in the recently added pitch clock rule. Big talking point over the last couple seasons, but most players are used to it, except here we get a pitch clock violation. And it's a 2-2 count as Alicea was not ready in the box once we were down to 8 on the pitch clock.
And that rule did change this season.
There's a minor tweak there to the rule.
Yeah, they referring it to this rule change as batters alertness. Batters are now required to be alert to the pitcher within 12 seconds, which is an increase from the previous 10-second requirement last season. Hitters can also bail out of the batter's box. They don't have to stay in the box this year, but you have to be ready to hit within 12 seconds.
The 3-2 bounced in the dirt, becomes irrelevant for Alicea. He and his burner speed now on base. First time Louisville, or anybody for that matter, has reached second base in this game. He came up big as part of the rally last night. Zion Rose. 2 for 5, had the base hit that tied the game in the 10th before the heroics of his teammate Lucas Moore, and ultimately scored the winning run.
Yeah, Louisville down to their final out twice in that game. First, it was the bottom of the 9th. Texas 1 out away from winning, and Garrett Pike tied it up with a 2-out single. And of course, Rose followed that up and
briefly shows bunts before pulling it back.
Kamayu Neighbors had reached base in the 10th. Rose gets the hit, and then of course the big hit from Lucas Moore to end the comeback. And that was after Adrian Rodriguez had hit a home run to put Texas ahead in the top of the 10th.
2-0. Blistered back up the middle. Clean single for Rose. Around third. Tyson beats the throw to the plate. Louisville off and running with a 1-0 lead.
Well, a nice piece of hitting from Zion Rose, and one of the few mistakes we've seen so far from Harrison Bodendorf. That pitch stand out over the middle of the plate. Rose with just a great approach, takes it right back up the box. Will deliver the first run for the Cardinals.
That gets Rob Walton out of his dugout on the first base line for Oklahoma State, the former Hall of Famer at OSU in the mid-'80s.
Yeah, former head coach at Oral Roberts, and got the call from Josh Holliday to join him in Stillwater. And Rob Walton has been there since day one of the Holliday coaching tenure.
Already some movement down there in the Oklahoma State bullpen. It's amazing how at OSU, and there's, look at a couple of the guys, I wouldn't say they're officially throwing yet, but Ryan Ure and Brennan Phillips each stirring down there. Every single member of the primary coaching staff for Josh Holliday, they're all OSU guys. It's amazing how tight-knit that program is, from player to alum and so on and so forth.
It is a tight network, and you know, consider the legacy of the Holliday family. Even his dad Tom, who coached under Gary Ward, and all those World Series appearances and titles for Oklahoma State. And Josh Holliday just continues that legacy, and you're exactly right, Ben. A lot of former Cowboys that are involved in this program.
Slider misses down and away to Matt Klein. The Pokes right now, though, down a run and in a bit of a bind. Their first-year pitcher Harrison Bodendorf transferring in from Hawaii with 2 on, just 1 out. That one nicked. Klein coming up and in, and it's bases loaded, 1 out for Jake Monroe.
You can hear it make that thud sound with that elbow guard of Matt Klein, and it allows those hitters to just stand in the box and take it instead of trying to bail, but that'll result in a free base.
Big moment early for Jake Monroe, who goes over the top of a changeup. A batter and a pitcher, each in their team debuts this weekend. Monroe 1 for 4 with a crucial run scored last night. That's off the glove of Doherty, and racing to the plate is Ali Seiya. Another run in for the Cardinals.
Well, that's going to go down as a wild pitch. That was just out of the reach of Doherty. He got a glove on it. That pitch was far out of the zone and above his head as well. Not much you can do from the catching position when that ball's over your head like that.
He was already leaning a little bit inside. That pitch ended up way high and away. Does get the wave and a miss on a 1-1 changeup.
Monroe with a ton of power. Had 23 bombs last season at John Logan Illinois College. JUCO transfer.
But out in front, another changeup. It does force a throw down to first in plenty of time. Good bounce back by Bodendorf, and now faces Eddie King. And a senior in King looking to get his senior campaign going. Team captain, been on this roster all 4 years. Only senior who can say that at Louisville, but he struggled yesterday. 5 Ks and 5 trips. They bumped him down a notch in the order to the 5-hole tonight. A late strike call on the outside edge. Just catches a piece. It's been that way this whole weekend so far, though, for King, just constantly working from behind in the count.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle to start the season, but, you know, he's such a mature hitter, and there's no doubt he'll come back around. He's chalked up his 5 at-bats. Move on.
Just outside on 0-2. When he catches fire, though, he's as potent of a power hitter as anybody in the game. 12 homers in his final 19 appearances last year. Powers this one to the right side, sending Schubert back, but has enough room to reach up with that tall 6'5" frame and make the play. Cardinals strike first with a couple runs as they lead it 2-0 heading to the home half of the third on top of Oklahoma State.
Resilience. At Shriners Children's, we're leaders in pediatric sports medicine. With expertise in sprains, tears, fractures, and other sports-related injuries. We're here to deliver the best care in the business and never allow your ability to pay for services to compromise the care your child needs. Because every great comeback starts with a game plan for empowering the extraordinary. Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere.
Naylor Industries and their dedicated Amegy business banker work together to put the us in business banking, focusing on their business needs with lightning speed. Now it's your turn with your own dedicated Amegy business banker with banking experience in your industry. Because you're more than a customer, we're more than a bank, and together we'll help put your business on solid financial footing with comprehensive financing options, earned interest on your accounts, and yes, a banking partner who is just as invested in your growth as you are. Here we collaborate. Here you grow.
2-0 Louisville to the bottom of the third. Big thanks to head coach Dan McDonald joining us right now on our head coach's interview, brought to you by Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere. Coach, we got Ryan up in the booth joining us next half inning. I was like, hey Ryan, I know you're going to ask the hard questions, so but leave it to us. We have to throw Coach some softballs. It's been a fun start for your group here this tournament. How about the resilience you guys showed first off last night?
A great game, great, well-pitched game. It was huge. You get a 2-out hit there in the 9th, and then when we're down in the 10th. So it was a fun game, obviously, because we came out on top. But great for the fans, great day, great way to wrap up day one.
Coach Pat Combs here. Boy, what a start for your pitcher, Detmers, man. He has been really good so far.
Yeah, like Forbes was last night, you know. Parker's off to a good start. You know, once he commands the breaking ball, as you see, the fastball is electric. He's a competitive kid. And that's, you know, the goal always is to get quality starts, especially this opening weekend against the type of teams we're playing. But you realize you got a long way to go, and you refer back to last night's game, the value of the bullpen. I keep telling our guys these games will be won and lost in the middle to late innings.
Dan, you talked about how close this team was last year. You had 3-4 teams ahead of you went to the College World Series. What are the pieces that you're seeing that have to come together this year for Louisville to be a postseason type team?
Well, I think all good or great teams start on the mound, right? And so yesterday, whether we won or not, was such a, man, we pitched so well from the quality start to the guys that came out of the bullpen. We had a freshman throw like 2 1/3. That makes you smile as a coach. And so, you know, let's pitch. We feel like we've got enough pieces, good depth, but you know, guys got to fill into a role. Guys got to be comfortable running out, you know, the bullpen, and it's a long way to go. And you're just going to learn a lot about your team, especially this first month.
Before we let you go, Coach, tell us about the journey of Alex Alisea, who made the defensive play of the game so far today, as a really cool story.
Well, I had to holler out +1 because we do this drill on Thursdays, fly ball communication, and if we drop a fly ball, that's a long lap around the field. I always say these guys play baseball because they don't enjoy running, right? So you know, punishment is a long lap around the field. So now if we drop one next Thursday in practice, they've got this one in their back pocket. So I try to reward them.
There you go.
You know, but Alex, as you see, our leadoff, great player, does everything. You know, can run the bases really well. Really good defensive player, played mostly second for us last year. But as I've said, is really the one returner in the infield with a mix of junior college, 4-year transfer, and we had a freshman at first last night. So Alex is probably the centerpiece of the defense.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thanks so much again for the time. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
2 up, 2 down. The backwards K to Brock Thompson. Ian Doherty, a ground out to short, and now Parker Detmers. 1 out away from getting through his first 3 innings completely unscathed, but he falls behind 3-1 to Garrett Shull in his first career start. Did get an AB off the bench last night. And does earn a free pass. First blemish on the card for Parker Detmers in the form of a 2-out walk as it brings back the top of the order.
Well, great start for Detmers. Outside the walk here to Shull, but everything you hope for when you're out there for the first start of the season, you know, how can you control the adrenaline and just the excitement? He has done a good job with all of that so far. Now turns the lineup over. We'll see how the second round through the lineup goes for him.
This throw squirms away from the first baseman Klein, and that's enough for Shull to get into scoring position. Awkward play over there on the pickoff as Klein just got stuck.
Yeah, just a bad move, bad throw to first base. Saw it go wide left of the bag, and Klein, of course, a catcher, couldn't quite come up with that one at first base.
And after doing nothing the first 2.5 innings for Oklahoma State, they do have a runner in scoring position for the top of the order. Called strike taken by Smith. .11 homers, 25 steals last year with a .388 average at Iowa Western JUCO. Stepping right into the leadoff spot in his first year as a Cowboy. Works the count to 1-1. As you noted too, Pat, back in the first inning, he's like a man possessed in the box. It's like there's nowhere else he would rather be. Look at how intense he looks. Dug in, ready for the 1-1. Pops that one foul and out of play.
It reminds me of a former teammate Lenny Dykstra in Philadelphia. Lenny was always jumping around. Now, I don't know how much of that was natural back in his day, but
fair point. Way to make the distinction on one comp.
Oh,
yes.
man. Yeah, hard to comp that deal.
Now, you had some fun teammates back in the day.
It was a wild time, yeah, no doubt.
1-2 to Smith. Stays alive.
Yeah, former Cowboy Pete Incaviglia, highly regarded, probably one of the better college hitters of all time. He and Robin Ventura. How about that? Both of them Cowboys, and got to play with both those guys. Ventura on the USA team in '87, '88, and then Inky back in Philadelphia. But
outside on 1-2. Both those guys in the College Baseball Hall of Fame. Incaviglia, the all-time NCAA home run leader.
yeah, you'd see Lenny Dykstra jump out of the box and all the mannerisms he had. And like that'll happen when you have a chew, a dip, and you're smoking cigarettes in between innings. That'll do it to
Just
you.
a byproduct. Check swing, no offer, and the count runs full. Robin Ventura, in the meantime, he had the all-time record 58-game hitting streak. Were you responsible? Were you pitching against him in any of those?
I did. I contributed to that. When
you did contribute. Okay.
Yep.
I figured. As a Baylor guy,
I had him 0 for 3, and then yeah, I felt sorry for him. I gave him something to hit late in the game. Wanted to keep that streak alive.
Be part of the history books. You are. The 3-2. Chop to the right side, stays down for Byram. Hott makes the play, and Parker Detmers works around the 2-out walk. Still 2-0 lead for Louisville as we go to the 4th inning. We'll visit with our Shriners team captain from the Louisville Cardinals, Ryan. He's with us in the booth right after this.
We're here today to introduce Ryan to the Louisville Cardinal baseball players who will be playing in the Shriners Children's College Showdown in Arlington in February.
Thanks for coming out. Appreciate you. Can you throw it as well as your dad could?
I grew up a Louisville fan. When I had the opportunity to stay home and play for Louisville, it's something that I had dreamt about, since I was a little kid.
The difference is your dad was trying to strike guys out.
We're trying to let them hit.
You find out that my wife was pregnant. You're excited, you're scared. We found out at the 20-week ultrasound that he was going to be born without his hand.
I just immediately started researching. I found out about Shriners in Lexington, I think through social media. And then I saw that Dr. Riley and a couple other doctors there specialized in limb anomalies.
The care we give is the most amazing care anywhere, and we offer that regardless of their ability to pay or the status of their insurance.
It's been going good. Like, I started playing baseball when I was like 4. I started playing t-ball.
It looks like he can be a pitcher one day and looks athletic, so I'm going to enjoy following him in his athletic career.
I'm very appreciative for what Shriners has done for me.
So special to showcase all of our Shriners children's team captains this weekend as part of the event here at Globe Life Field in Arlington. You just saw Ryan's story. And look who it is. He's with us in the booth right now. Hey, my man, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by with us. I saw you, Pat and I were watching you play catch down there, helping the guys warm up. Tell us about your warm-up routine. What was that like?
It was good. I liked it. Like, just warming up my arm and everything, helping the players just get ready for the game.
Coach might use you later.
That's right.
Out of the bullpen. Are you ready?
Warmed up, man.
If he asks you, you could, throw a couple innings. They might need you.
Ryan, what was the highlight of meeting the Louisville team?
What was the best part? Just meeting all the players. They were just good, nice, like outstanding.
And tell us a little bit about your story and how you got to be involved with the Shriners.
So my mom, she was looking through. She found out that I was going to be born without my right hand, and she just started looking up stuff on the internet, and then she found Shriners.
Now you've been a part of this program. So how do you go? What's your process? Tell me if I was to throw you the ball, how would you handle it? Because you only have one arm. What do you do to be able to play baseball?
So I have my glove, like there's this little hole, like the opening. I have it in my arm, and I like have my arm, and then I have the ball in my left hand, and then I have this little opening of the glove in my right hand, and then I just get set, throw it, and then when I throw it, I put my hand into the glove, and then I'm ready to field.
Now, Ryan, do you know of a guy named Jim Abbott?
Yep.
So, you know, he was my ex-teammate on the USA team.
You played with him?
I did play with Jim. Actually, he played with me.
Yeah, he played with that. You're with royalty up here, Ryan.
No, Ryan, I wanted to know if you knew that because, you know, Jim was the first guy that really showed us how to do that, you know, with slipping that glove onto his hand after he'd thrown the pitch. And, you know, Jim went on to have, obviously, a great Major League career. So do you have aspirations to be like Jim Abbott one day?
Yep.
Love it. Who would you want to play for?
I don't have a team in mind yet.
Not yet? Louisville for sure, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
College level, we know. It's Louisville. We were watching the Cardinals play right now, 2-0. Were you here? Were you here for the whole game last night? Did you see the walk-off?
Oh, yeah. That was a great game.
That had to be so cool. Being, you know, you're a team captain here as this ball's popped up in on the infield and playable. It is the third baseman, Miola, who takes it. But, okay, so what was that like for you? We watched everybody go crazy. They're spraying water, Gatorade on each other. Take us through it from your eyes. How did you see that all play out?
I saw everybody running on the field. Everybody, like, spraying water on everybody. Everybody was having a good time.
It's amazing.
That's what it's all about, Ryan, right? Just have fun playing the game.
Uh-huh.
Now, tell us what your goal is this spring. Are you going to be playing some baseball?
Yeah.
Good deal. What's your goal?
Get better.
That's it.
Starts right there. The next Jim Abbott right here, everybody.
Awesome.
You won't be able to play with Pat, unfortunately. But, however, we can't thank you enough for sharing your story. It's been really cool to watch you and the Louisville team. You guys have had a great weekend so far, so keep it up, all right?
All right.
Thanks so much for joining us, my man, as we're here with 2 outs in the 4th inning. Taggart Tyson up at the plate. A huge thanks to Ryan and all the team captains for joining us throughout the weekend here as part of the Shriners Children's College Showdown. That one just misses outside. And it is 2-1 to Tyson. 2 up, 2 down in this top of the 4th. Good bounce back inning so far for Harrison Bodendorf after he got nicked up for the 2 runs in the top of the 3rd. Just missed. And the count runs full. The first career appearance for Taggart Tyson in a 3-way battle for the backup catcher spot. He plasters one to right center. How about that for an impression as Taggart Tyson chugs around second, digging for third. The throw is offline. Taggart Tyson fired up.
Just a great 3-2 swing by Tyson. Gets the fastball up and out of the plate. Goes with the pitch. Well done. Just extends those hands, and that ball was scorched off the bat. 104 exit velo, and that gets into the gap by Nolan Schubert. He is trucking around second base. Looked up a little bit late on the turn. Got the wave and made his way to third base. 4-4. Taggart Tyson with a couple of outs.
How about the catcher speed, too? No hesitation. Rounding second for Tyson. Byram Hott struck out in his first appearance. Has a duck on the pond 90 feet away.
Well, Tyson tabbed by head coach Dan McDonald is the better offensive player of the two catchers.
This one punched into left. A 2-out rally for Louisville from the bottom of the order. Byram Hott's first hit as a Cardinal represents a 3-0 lead.
A little 2-out rally here for the Cardinals in the 4th inning. 2-out RBI for Hott. Yeah, a pitch that was down in the zone, but out over the plate. Able to extend on that pitch, and he picks up the big 2-out RBI.
That gets Alisea back at the top of the order.
Not much action in the Oklahoma State bullpen. Nobody throwing yet.
Swing and a miss. This is one of those what could have been outings so far for Bodendorf, because if the play was made to start the 3rd, that was an E4 pat. Should have gotten out of that inning unscathed, and here he is cruising to start this inning, and all of a sudden 2-out rally, and here you go, 3 runs on the board. He might feel like this should be the way he's pitching. That's still a 0-0 game.
Yeah, 2 quick outs in the inning, and you tell all young pitchers, you know, you got to keep that focus throughout. Get your team back in the dugout.
Push bunt attempt foul by Alisea.
Yeah, he fell behind against Tyson, had to come in with the fastball full count, and then Hott hit a pretty decent pitch down in the zone, but he's been fairly efficient up to this point.
Louisville is a team that has punished opponents' mistakes and taken advantage of any opening. That 0-2 just misses.
Well, the Cardinals played from behind the entire game yesterday until 2 outs in the 9th, and see what they can do with the lead now.
The Cardinals down to their final out last night in game 1. Alex Alisea in the leadoff role, 1 for 3 last night. He's made a great defensive play already today, and he stays alive. From Puerto Rico, but played his high school ball in the Milwaukee area. Now comes to Louisville. It's been a long line of really good shortstops who did it all for Louisville. You think about Devin Hairston, Christian Knapczyk, and Alex Alisea. He's got the tools. Here he swings and misses, though, on a changeup. And Bodendorf gets him to end the inning. But a 2-out rally started with a Taggart Tyson triple, then Byram Hott with this base knock extends the Louisville lead to 3-0 as we head to the bottom of the 4th from Globe Life Field in Arlington.
Today we had the opportunity to welcome in Sydney to meet our Oklahoma State Cowboy baseball team. Sydney is a patient who has received treatment at Shriners for scoliosis.
Hi, I'm Sydney.
Sydney, nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you.
Welcome.
I'm a sophomore here. I'm studying public health to be an occupational therapist. When I was 10, I was diagnosed with scoliosis, which is like the curvature of the spine. It was about 18 degrees at that point, and then I went to the doctor again, and 6 months later it had gone to 32 degrees. Here in Oklahoma, really my only option was spinal fusion, which is where they completely fuse your spine. So that's when we looked at Shriners and we found BBT. BBT stands for vertebral body tethering. It's the medical rope instead of rods that's placed against your spine. That's a little loose, so as you grow, it straightens and it straightens you out, but you're more flexible.
The fact that they can provide
The level of care that they provide, regardless of your ability to pay, is a tremendous thing.
Getting to hear her story and getting to play catch with her was awesome. What Shriners does for kids all over the country, it's amazing.
They were the best, and it really was the most amazing care. Thank you, thank you. Cowboys, yeah!
Back in Arlington at Globe Life Field, where the Shriners Children's College Showdown unites athletic excellence and the most amazing care anywhere. Shriners Children's is dedicated to improving the lives of children around the world. All care is provided regardless of a family's ability to pay. To learn more, visit shrinerschildrens.org today. We've raised over $75,000 this weekend. That number continues to rise. And on day 2, game number 2, it's Louisville with a 3-0 lead. The underdogs once again. They shocked Texas in walk-off fashion last night. Now they lead Oklahoma State 3-0. As Jason Jones and the Cowboys had a 3-run lead evaporate last night. Now Pat trying to come from behind in the reverse role here, down 3 runs.
Well, that's it. Plenty of capable offensive players here for the Cowboys. I think this is the strength of the team, this lineup. Top to bottom, a lot of power, got plenty of speed. They can turn a game around quick. 1 or 2 guys on here. You've got the middle of this order coming up with Schubert, Miola, Brigham. Those guys can go deep in a heartbeat.
Jason Jones fouling it off quickly down on the count 0-2. Spoil pitch from Detmers, who's in good shape on the pitch count. Only 45 pitches starting his 4th inning of work. Has only allowed 1 runner to reach base. It was via the 2-out walk last inning.
Yeah, great ball to strike ratio for Detmers. 47 pitches, 31 strikes up to this point, and he's just pounded the strike zone. Love a guy that trusts his stuff and just goes out and competes.
Did he go? No. Held up on that slider, and it's a full count.
Yeah, good hold. That was a nasty pitch. Started out in strike zone and just broke down and away. And Jones strong enough to hold that bat back.
The 3-2 to Jones starting this 4th inning. Fouls it off.
They came right at him with that full count pitch, 94 miles an hour. Caught a lot of the plate, but Jones not able to catch up to the pitch.
Jason Jones had chances to go play pro ball out of high school, decided to go the college route at Arkansas. Serves that one the other way. Beautiful piece of hitting with 2 strikes, and the first Oklahoma State hit comes in the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, that's a really good piece of hitting. The fastball came up and in that last previous pitch, and this time he just stays back and shoots it to right field. Well, it's really difficult for hitters to cover the entire plate, especially when you have a guy throwing 93, 94, but that's exactly what Jason Jones just did.
And just like the players behind him in the order needing to produce, it helps when you get the guys in front of Nolan Schubert in the order on base.
And he's a table setter.
A cut and a miss from Schubert on a slider. Smooth swinging, big lefty at 6'5", 234 out of Durand, Michigan. You see Parker Detmers trying to pound Schubert inside. That's been the one way pitchers have been able to get Schubert out. At times his swing's gotten a little long, but it is a pin-sized hole in an otherwise well-rounded game.
Yeah, there's no doubt. That's got to let the fastball work in. You let him get his hands out and extend, and that ball can travel a long way. Keep the breaking pitches down, and that's exactly what Detmers has done. Started him out slider down and in. Went fastball in, just missed, and then came back with a changeup down and away. Now, if he wants to change the eye level, he'd go fastball up here, then come back with the breaking ball.
Fastball was a little bit up, but fouled off.
Yeah, he got away with that one. You can see Detmers react to it. I'm glad he fouled that pitch off. That was right down central. That's where velo can help when you make mistakes across the middle of the plate.
Another 1-2 way outside. What's that like as a pitcher? You know you're going up against a stud, and then you get away with the pitch middle of the at-bat. How does that affect you the rest of the way?
Oh, yeah. You just thank God you turn around, get the ball back, and you go. Don't make that same mistake again. He probably won't miss it twice.
You've seen that distinct difference between slider and curveball from Parker Detmers. Mixing in a changeup. Does he go back to one of those three here?
Detmers didn't like the call. He stepped off. He'll take his one free step off. That's when the umpire behind the plate, Chris Koski, gives the sign with both fingers down. He's got his one freebie to reset the clock.
Right on that pitch, as he did go slider. Fouls it off, 2-2. Preseason Big 12 Player of the Year, Nolan Schubert. And for good reason. He only led the Big 12 in homers, RBI, slugging percentage a season ago. Guy can do it all.
Yeah, he and Jace Lavalette, of course, Texas A&M, I think two of the top left-handed hitters in college baseball, and both I think will have a chance to get drafted first round this year. And scouts at the moment will give Lavalette the nod. It's a little bit more plate discipline, and both guys have a ton of power. Just a really sweet left-handed swing.
Works outside as it goes to 3-2. Scouts have made the comp to a big, tall lefty like a Ben Grieve, former Oakland A, for Nolan Schubert. A lot of tall, strong lefties who have had long major league careers, though, you could generally compare Nolan Schubert to.
Let's see if Jason Jones gets put in motion here.
He does, but they say no, wave it off.
They called a balk.
And it is a balk before that happens. Is it a balk or is it a pitch clock violation?
It was a pitch clock violation, yeah. Yeah, Chris Guyton, first base umpire, immediately called timeout and signaled the pitch clock violation. So without a pitch, Schubert draws the walk. Jones was on the move to second base, so he'll stay put nonetheless. But now a little bit of trouble. First time Parker Detmers has had to contend with some adversity.
We did not see the pitch clock as a factor whatsoever to start this tournament. And after all the conversation and all of the potential controversy, it really just went away as the season went on last year.
That got
that one, you could hear it from up here.
Wow, right in the gut. Yeah.
Stomach of Aiden Miola, man.
Yeah, there was just nowhere to go. That fastball just kept bearing inside, and that one caught him square in the gut. And that ball just sticks and goes straight down. That was a rib shot. Oh, that'll knock your breath out.
Miola's been through the ringer too, a guy who had 3 concussions in about a year span. You just think, is there anybody less deserving of a 94-mile-an-hour fastball right to the rib cage? Tough break for Miola, and now for Louisville, it's the first time, as you alluded to, Pat, that the young hurler Parker Detmers, excuse me, a sophomore, is been in trouble, and we see the visit out to the mound by Roger Williams, the 19th year pitching coach. As Colin Briggerman a chance to snap his 0-for-5 start to 2025.
Yeah, this is where it doesn't get any easier for an opposing pitcher. You know, you get past Schubert and Miola, then you've got Bruggeman and Ortiz to deal with. It is a powerful lineup, and just one swing can change this game in a heartbeat.
And the big focus for Briggerman on the offseason was making contact. Struck out in almost a third of his plate appearances last year. And he absolutely barrels this one. Goodbye. Oklahoma State leads on one swing of the bat.
Well, as oftentimes happens when you get a pitcher struggling with command, gets the bases loaded, now he just gives in with a pitch he hasn't made all afternoon. That pitch was up, over the middle, right down central, and Bruggeman just puts a nice swing on it. That ball was about 15 rows, no doubter, here at Globe Life Field. That was a major league home run right there.
Miles an hour off the bat. 21st career home run for the Smithton, Illinois native.
That erases memories of an 0-for-5 really quick.
Oh, yeah. And how quickly this Oklahoma State lineup can get on you as Avery Ortiz swings over the top of a slider.
Yeah, it's not the single that hurts you, right? You know, Jones leads off the inning, gets things started with a single. Pretty innocent out to right field, but it's that walk, it's the hit batter, and then you give in. That's the killer.
Tapper by Ortiz. Nobody's at first. This will be tough, and a dive gets there for Ortiz first. Wow, infield single on a misplay by the Louisville infield.
Yeah, there was just so much going on with that play. Pretty innocent play to begin with, right? Just a Tapper back to the mound. Detmers jumps off, grabs it plenty of time, but Matt Klein didn't read it well. He starts to come in to play the ball and just didn't realize that Detmers was going to get to it that quickly, and Klein was just late getting to the bag. Now he thinks he beat Ortiz to the bag, but I don't think so. There's a good shot of the two bags now that are in play here in college baseball. Help try to cut down some injuries at first base. The green bag is the runner's bag. So here is the catch and the tag of Klein's shoe. Did his foot beat the hand of Ortiz? Umpires are going to take a look. They are going to review this officially now. There's home plate umpire Chris Koski and Doug Williams, the crew chief, longtime umpire out of the Big 12. It was a bang-bang play, but it looked to me like the hand of Ortiz just snuck in there before Klein's foot.
See Cowboy head coach Josh Holliday looking on. His team has gotten a spark in this fourth inning, 4 runs, and still nobody out. Could stay that way if the call on the field is upheld, with Avery Ortiz believing he was safe.
A great extension of on the slide by Ortiz, recognizing it was going to be a race to the bag.
It's just, is that look definitive to tell you his hand is on the base? And the other shot we had, I don't know if that was definitive, as if to say,
well, the call on the field was safe, so
yeah, you're not overturning this.
You'd have to see something that would cause you to overturn it, and I don't think it's going to be there. We'll see here. That's probably the best angle.
I haven't forced you to make any definitive calls, Pat, so you're a sparkling 0-0.
Well, I think we got one right yesterday, didn't we? Yeah, I think we got one right. And
I'm saying safe.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the call. I don't think there's anything there that would cause you to overturn that.
Because that's the look we're looking. That's the look. Is that definitive that the hand of Ortiz is not on the bag when in about a split second the
right
foot
there? Yeah, you can see the hand
contact.
kind of pop back. Yeah, right before the foot hit. So I think this will stand. And look, it was a play that could have been a much different outcome had Klein just read it better. Yeah, Detmer's made a fairly easy play of it, and Klein just misread it.
They will confirm the call at first base, and it will keep Ortiz over there. There comes the official announcement. Much to the delight of the traveling Oklahoma State fans, who've gotten very used to making this trip to Arlington.
Now the question is, how do they score it? I'm guessing it's going to be a single. Yeah, they're going to call that an infield single for Ortiz. So a couple of singles, a couple of free bases, and a bomb. And,
I was just wondering, too, how would Dan McDonald handle this? His hurler, Parker Detmers, had been standing out there on the mound for a long time. He gave up the grand slam, misplay on the infield, sitting there awaiting the review, and that will mark the end of the line. It was such a great first 3 innings, but things come unraveled in the 4th. And Louisville turns to the bullpen in Jared Lessman, the senior lefty out of Iowa Western Community College. It's a whole new game now. Louisville had the lead the first few innings. Oklahoma State has responded with a grand slam as they lead it 4-3. And still with a man on and nobody out in the bottom of the 4th. Lessman to enter the game when we return from Arlington. Four runs already in this bottom of the 4th for Oklahoma State, highlighted by the Colin Brighamman grand slam that has chased Parker Detmers from the game. And it's Jared Lessman, first call to the bullpen for Louisville head coach Dan McDonald. Get ready, Pat, for a whole lot of off speed. This is a funky lefty who can make life really difficult on lefties like Brock Thompson, who digs in now.
It is one hot mess of off speed stuff, and but Lessman's got some good stuff. Don't think that just because he doesn't throw 90 it's not good. It's low to mid 80s slider, the mid 70s curveball, the changeup makes that high 80s fastball play a little bit harder. And Lessman has really good command of all those pitches, so a really solid 4-pitch mix, and oftentimes will induce soft contact.
Just like that, little tapper foul. 0-2 to Thompson. Jared Lessman did earn a place in the bullpen last year, his first season as a transfer from the JUCO level, 17 outings.
He definitely fits the mold of pitch to contact.
Got him. Surprising Brock Thompson with a high heat. Could not keep up, and it's finally for Louisville the first out of the inning.
Yeah, 90-mile-an-hour fastball at the letters, and Thompson just swings through it well above his barrel. Yeah, Lessman's one of those guys that'll kind of put you to sleep and then sneak that fastball right by you.
Well, the Oklahoma State bats certainly awoke about 15 minutes ago after a quiet first 3 innings. As Lessman misses outside against Ian Doherty. Part of a big OSU family. His parents, Derek and Micah, both went to school in Stillwater. His brother Cole, a student at OSU as well. Watches this changeup down in the dirt. Snap throw well late.
Yeah, Doherty, a solid catcher behind the plate, really good defensively. Steadily improved with the bat in his OSU career.
Works the count to 2-0. A lot of folks thought he might be a pitcher in college. Was 25-3 as a high school pitcher in the small town of Kingfisher, Oklahoma. And he's ahead in the count. 3-0, and at some point on our system we missed the ball because that's 4 pitches and a walk. That moves Ortiz to second, and Doherty is on board for Garrett Shull, who was the first player to reach base for Oklahoma State back in the last inning out of the 9-hole. Command now failing Lessman with 5 straight balls against one of the best freshman prospects in the country. Shull committed to Oklahoma State in 9th grade. Was a top 40 high school recruit going into last year's draft. Oh, good move. They got him. Lessman completely froze. And Avery Ortiz at second realized that he had no chance.
Yeah, nice set play. Just you come set, you count to 2 seconds, you spin and throw, and yeah, well done there. Ortiz caught napping at second base. As Byram Hott makes the tag, that'll help you get out of inning.
Well, you said Lessman can lull some hitters to sleep. Apparently, the same thing can be said on the base paths as this one's fouled off. Good look at Byram Hott, who applied the tag. 4-3 Oklahoma State lead. All runs have come in this inning for the Cowboys. Shull with a foul tip.
Might have caught Taggart Tyson, the catcher. And he's saying I'm okay. So yeah, Chris Koski trying to give him a second to catch his breath. Well, that pickoff play often comes from the infielders. They'll pick something up. They'll either signal to the catcher, catcher will signal to the pitcher, or it can come straight from the infielder to the pitcher. And you work on that stuff all spring, and then you get into a situation like that and put the play on it. Coaches love to see the execution on those plays.
Good placement for a 1-2 pitch just off the outside edge. 2-2 to Shull. Really struggled in a couple of the fall ball scrimmages. Went 0 for 7 with 5 Ks in their series against Arkansas. Here he takes a called strike on the inner half. And Lessman gets a couple punch outs since coming in from the bullpen. 4 runs crossed, though, in a huge bottom of the 4th for Oklahoma State, punctuated by Colin Brigham's grand slam. They lead it by 1 heading to the 5th.
protecting what matters most is the mission that matters most. At Lockheed Martin, we know today's threats come from behind, above, and below, and we make sure those who serve stay ahead of them by connecting platforms necessary to dominate every domain across air, land, sea, space, and cyber, using technologies that protect in the same moment they detect. The mission is a safer, more secure world. Our promise is to help make it happen.
Sometimes you just need a little wonderful in your life. So why not go to a place made for it? Arlington, Texas. It's a city made for fun and excitement and all the things you love to do. And even some things you didn't know you loved until you came here and found them. Come see for yourself why Arlington is a world of wonderful.
Everything you thought you knew is brand new. We on a new wave. This ain't what it was. See, when the game changes, so do we. Every day, every play. Always been greater than 12. Now standing 16 strong. In every end zone, any time zone. When everyone else keeps asking, what's next? We know we are.
We head to the 5th inning at Globe Life Field in Arlington. Louisville fans don't mind being in this position. Down a run, they came back late last night with a walk-off win over Texas. Here they are down 4-3 and start the 5th with their big bopper, Zion Rose, at the plate. Off to a 3-for-7 start in his 2025 campaign after hitting nearly 400 a season ago. Watches the 0-1 fastball crack a little high. Well, Harrison Bodendorf, that was a long half inning hanging out in the dugout as his team scored 4 runs with a grand slam. Had a pitching change in the mix there. Falls behind 2-1.
Well, you talk about the draft status of a Nolan Schubert for Oklahoma State. No doubt he'll be a high pick, but this guy right here, Zion Rose for Louisville, could be another long line of Cardinal players that get their name called. Just had an incredible breakout freshman campaign and had more walks and strikeouts. That's tough to do in a Power 5 conference.
And to hit for power, no less. Here's the 3-1. Just catches the top of the zone. He actually came to campus as a catcher, did Zion Rose.
Yep, let's see where that pitch landed. That might have been a tad up. Yep. Benefit of the call there.
And that pitch clearly a ball, and it works out for Zion Rose. Leadoff walk. 19 walks to just 18 punch-outs a season ago.
The second walk given up by Bodendorf, and comes on the heels of his team, his offense, regaining the lead. Now the middle of this Louisville lineup. Don't want to issue free passes with these boppers coming up.
Matt Klein already a couple hits in his weekend. And can slot him in the 3-hole now that he's fully healthy. He had a season-ending knee injury back in 2023 when he was splitting time at catcher. But came back healthy last year, hit nearly 300. Watches a first pitch ball, 1-0.
Yeah, Klein had a breakout summer as well in the Cape. And now we're going to get a visit from Rob Walton, the pitching coach for the Cowboys.
You've been in spots like that before, Pat. It's the kiss of death sometimes for pitchers. You sit in a dugout for a half hour, get a little too comfortable maybe.
Yeah, you tend to kind of lose the rhythm. You get your body starts to cool down a little bit. And now the visit with Walton, I'm sure, trying to alert his pitcher, Bodendorf, hey, your team just got you the lead. Let's settle in there and get back in and challenge the strike zone. Bullpen is now active for the Cowboys.
That's a good look down there at the pen. Unlike Harrison Bodendorf, you had to inhale the fumes of random Veterans Stadium toxins in the air. So it's harder for you when you were a Philadelphia Philly back in the day.
Much harder, yeah. Yep.
Just a good look at Josh Holliday.
Yeah, pitch count starting to creep up as well. 78 pitches now for Bodendorf. And no throw over rule in college baseball. Of course, pro ball, you're limited to 2 tosses to the base.
Good bounce back there to go front door slider on 1-0. Smacked back up the middle, but right into the shift. A tailor-made 6-3 unassisted double play.
Yeah, well placed. Avery Ortiz was playing right where he needed to play. Ball was hit pretty hard off the bat of Klein, but just right to Ortiz. A couple of steps to his left, steps on the bag, easy toss over to Colin Bergerman at first base. Just like that, one pitch equates to 2 outs.
Sliced foul by Jake Monroe. That's how you get back into a rhythm if you are a pitcher in Harrison Bodendorf. Most guys this opening weekend you don't see push past 80, 85 pitches at max. You'd figure this would be the final frame as a result. A little bit high on that fastball, 1-1.
Yeah, good news for Harrison Bodendorf, not only getting to the 5th inning, but also extending that pitch count, and really not much of a fall off in stuff. The fastball still electric at 89 to 91. Doesn't rely on his velocity, really relies on the movement of those pitches, and still looking pretty sharp outside of the walk to start the inning.
Works the count to 2-2. Did a little bit of everything at Hawaii, did Harrison Bodendorf on the mound. 17 starts in his 41 appearances. This one tagged to right field, but at Nolan Schubert, who catches it waist high and ends the inning. A leadoff walk, wiped out with a double play, and Harrison Bodendorf gets through 5 strong innings for Oklahoma State as they lead 4-3, halfway home in our middle game of 3 here on Flow College.
At Shriners Children's, we're home to the world's leading pediatric orthopedic care. Because so many life-changing advancements start here. We provide access to the best doctors and never allow your ability to pay for services to compromise the care your child needs. We're the first place to turn for the most common or complex orthopedic conditions, home to possibility, and empowering kids to achieve the extraordinary. Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere.
Record-breaking global superstar, Shakira, live in Arlington. Las Mujeres Ya No Lloran World Tour, Globe Life Field, June 11th. The phenomenal new album Las Mujeres Ya No Lloran is available everywhere now. Get tickets now at Shakira.com.
Yeah, winning a policy. Thank God for $1, a prophecy. Love the pressure, I am a prodigy. Everybody inside of the stadium tell me they proud of me. Shot in public, training privately. Homer, straight to the balcony. Building muscle, I never can bother me. Texas Rangers together, we by the team. Go an artist, is the dog in me. Still a game on the road, it's a robbery. Stand on base, going strong, no apology. Corey Seager might give it to raw. Like I see it, the strength in my arm.
Back at Globe Life Field in Arlington, that's the skipper of the Oklahoma State baseball team, Josh Holliday. Not a bad player in his own right. He preaches patience at the plate. That's because his head coach, Gary Ward, preached that same thing, and Josh Holliday listened to it to the tune of 225 career walks, all-time leader in Cowboy history.
Man, that's outstanding. You know, I did not realize Josh had those records going, but so his brother Matt Holliday, obviously, you know, perennial Major League All-Star, just retired a couple years ago.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, Matt made the money. Josh set the records. And now Josh obviously carrying on the family legacy in the dugout with the Cowboys. And what an incredible legacy. And if you haven't heard the news, a guy like Jackson Holliday, first-round pick overall a couple of seasons ago. And then his brother Ethan coming up, they say might be as good or better than Jackson. What a family.
Man. A 1-2 fouled off by Braden Smith, top of the order in this 5th inning. I was told that Jackson Holliday was the best of all of them, and now apparently there's a, you know, it's always the youngest.
Ethan's coming up, man. Yeah, it's outstanding. There's all in the Holliday family legacy. Tom, of course, coaching to start things at Oklahoma State. I was recruited by Tom back in the day, and yeah, I just was too scared to pitch at the old stadium.
Not easy.
All those home runs going up every year. I'm like, why do I want to come here and pitch?
Tom Holliday, now a TV analyst for the Pokes. This one sent back up the box. Braden Smith takes on that slider with 2 strikes and sends it up the middle.
What a nice piece of hitting for Smith, and finally gets a pitch he can handle over the plate. They had pitched him pretty tough his first 2 at bats. And he just stayed on that breaking pitch really nice. Lefty on lefty matchup, and Smith did not bail out that time. Good job of going right back up the box with it. Well, and Josh will tell you his daughter, who's now 21 years old at Oklahoma State, she might be the biggest fan of the entire family. She loves baseball.
Family affair for the Hollidays. And this pilgrimage to Globe Life Field has become something of a tradition, that with the Big 12 tournament being played here. Cowboys went 7-2 in games at Globe Life last year. Won the Big 12 tournament. As Jason Jones watches a strike on a changeup, 0-1.
Yeah, this is their home away from home for sure. But what a home they have in Old Brate Stadium up in Stillwater. Beautiful facility, one of the top in college baseball. Opened up a few seasons ago, and it is a spectacular place.
Jones down in the count, 0-2. And they played a fall ball scrimmage against Arkansas, another team with tremendous pedigree, great fan base. As Jason Jones watches this curveball in the dirt, and Jones has now played for both programs. Started at Arkansas, now at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, how about the Cowboys trip to Baum in the fall to play the Razorbacks? 8,000 fans show up for a fall baseball game.
Crazy.
That tells you just the excitement around this college game, and it just got better and better every year.
Oh, that slides under the mid of the pitcher. Throw not in time as it gets past Lessman. That had some wicked topspin on it. Hit right off the edge of the plate. And Louisville arguing that hit the foot of Jason Jones.
Well, that's the question. Did that spin get created because of the foot? I don't think it did. I think it just had some topspin, and Lessman just misplayed it. Yeah, that ball on the second bounce just hugged the turf. Not something you would expect, but Lessman kind of olayed it. If he'd have gotten his body in front of it, he could have at least knocked it down and recorded 1 out.
How this game has turned. Louisville was up 3-0, cruising in the last inning, as Nolan Schubert takes a called strike. But all of a sudden, Couple guys get on. Colin Briggerman hits the go-ahead grand slam. Cardinals have to go to the bullpen, and now a chance for Nolan Schubert to blow this thing wide open. Tags it back up the middle. 108 miles an hour off the bat, and Nolan Schubert has provided the Cowboys with some insurance as Braden Smith scores from second.
Yeah, again, another nice at bat for Nolan Schubert. Goes down and gets his pitch. Not a bad delivery from Jared Lessman. Just a great piece of hitting from Nolan Schubert. Watch the location of that pitch. It did catch the middle of the plate, but it was down. Schubert catches it off the end of the bat, but he'll produce an RBI. Now a 2-run lead for the Pokes.
Aiden Miola, one of the 4 Cowboys who scored on the grand slam last inning, was hit by a pitch, took a fastball right to the ribs. Takes a called strike here. He has been through a lot. 3 concussions in a year. The second one was just a complete freak accident. He was feeding balls into a pitching machine in their indoor cage when a batted ball from a different cage ripped through the netting, hit him in the head. Fouls this one off. He had to stay overnight at a hospital. Couldn't be exposed to light for a week.
Wow.
At one point, he didn't even want to talk to his dad about baseball. His dad, Tony, a former goalkeeper in the MLS with Team USA. There's a great feature on him by Ben Hutchins in Stillwater. Here he chops one to third. Could be 2, 5, 4, 3 as Miola grounds into the double play.
Yeah, great job by Jake Monroe. You know, you get enticed to go step on third base, get the lead runner there, but that was an absolute tailor-made double play ball. Monroe does a good job. Good turn at second base by Byram Hott over to Klein.
Louisville grounded into a couple double plays last night, but first time they have turned one this season. Nicely done by Monroe. Here's Colin Briggerman, who had the grand slam last inning. 397 to straightaway right field. Nice pitch on the outside edge, 0-2. Josh stays alive.
Well, we have an idea what Louisville can do with a 2-run lead.
That we do.
Can Lessman keep the lead at 2?
Wave and a miss. Nasty slider on the lefty-lefty matchup. Lessman gets out of it, having allowed just the 1 run. Nolan Schubert, one of the hottest draft prospects in next year's drafts, adds to the lead now 5-3 Oklahoma State.
Golden Chick's new Golden Bowl is so big, it's a whole lot of yes and a whole lot of yum. So if you like big bowls, and we cannot lie, the new loaded mashed potato bowl is a whole lot of Golden Chick, a big bowl you can't deny.
Woodcraft and their dedicated Amagi business banker work together to put the us in business banking, creating a long-lasting relationship with open and quick communication. Now it's your turn with your own dedicated Amagi business banker with banking experience in your industry, because you're more than a customer. We're more than a bank, and together we'll work to help put your business on solid financial footing with comprehensive financing options, earned interest on your accounts, and yes, the support you need to reach your business goals faster. Here we collaborate. Here you grow.
It's only the 6th inning, but already the shirts are off. Rally has happened for Oklahoma State. 5 unanswered runs as the Cowboys lead 5-3 on top of Louisville. And after 5 solid innings for Harrison Bodendorf in his Cowboy debut, Josh Holliday turns it over to the bullpen as we get our first look at Stormy Rhodes. The freshman native of Texas comes in, makes his Oklahoma State debut on this beautiful Saturday afternoon in Arlington. And for the first time, we see Rhodes. He also gets to pitch with a lead here after the offense is woken up, Pat, over the last couple innings.
Yeah, good arm speed is what you're going to see from Stormy Rhodes. A fastball that's going to sit low to mid-90s. He'll touch 95 with that pitch. And a pretty good slider, high spin rate slider, and a changeup. One of those guys that's projected to be a potential future starter for the Cowboys, but gets the call now with a 2-run lead. Cowboys trying to get on the win board for the first time this season.
Faces Eddie King to start the inning. Tight 1-run loss for the Cowboys yesterday to Clemson, but on top here as we near the late innings. And 2-0 for Stormy Rhodes, part of a very good baseball family. His older brother plays baseball at Lubbock Christian. His name is Stoney, so you got Stormy and Stoney. This ball's pummeled to left, but Shull has a beat on it and makes the catch. Tough luck for Eddie King, who scorched that one off the bat.
Yeah, a couple of line drive outs to the outfield for Eddie King. Nothing to show for. Good contact today. Much better than yesterday, but yeah, difficult play out in left field. Garrett Shull, freshman left fielder, ball hit right at him. Did a good job of getting those hips turned and putting himself in a position to make that catch off the bat of King.
Brings up Garrett Pike. Watches that changeup miss down and in. 6th in the Mid-American Conference last year in batting average, tied for the conference lead in hits while at Toledo. As he works the count to 2-0. That got him a lot of looks from Power 5, now Power 4 schools like Louisville. And he's in his first year. Came up big in his debut with the game-tying 2-run single in the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, the former Rocket hit a rocket, and that
he did.
Had he not done it, that would have been game over. Texas's bullpen up to that point had been spotless.
.30 fastball in there. You can see that 92-mile-an-hour pitch from Rhodes. Fires another one in there.
Yeah, good spot. Four-seam fastball catches the inside corner. Gets back into the count.
Punched off the glove of Rhodes, deflects perfectly to Brock Thompson, who makes the play. Like they drew it up like that.
Yeah, the old 1 to 4 to 3. Nice adjustment on the footwork by Thompson. Started to charge hard towards the middle and had to make that adjustment on the fly. And a nice pickup by the Cowboys second baseman.
Rhodes continues the line of pitchers in their first season at Oklahoma State. Harrison Bodendorf, the 5 innings. Now it is Rhodes as he misses outside. The Pokes need a lot of guys like Bodendorf, Rhodes, who are unproven in the program, to come in and give them innings. Again, behind in the count here, 2-0, because they had a bunch of pitchers drafted last year, 3 in the top 8 rounds alone, part of a staff that had the best ERA, fewest walks, most strikeouts in the Big 12. Count 2-1. That is not an easy place to pitch, Stillwater, Oklahoma, or so I've been told.
Well, it just depends on which way the wind's blowing. You know, as the southern winds pick up, that ball can really carry at O'Brate. But yeah, early season not as bad.
Solid fastball on the outside edge to Michael Lippy. in the 7 hole for Louisville.
That pitch had a little bit more bite to it, more movement. And the one knock on Rhodes is a straight fastball, but not that time.
Got him on the outside corner. And Rhodes works a clean 1-2-3 6th, preserving a 2-run lead for Oklahoma State. Pokes on top 5-3 as we go to the bottom of inning number 6. Oklahoma State lead headed to the home half of the 6th, and this is just the start of a few great weekends of college baseball. The Amagi Bank College Baseball Series presented by Kubota starts Friday through Sunday next week as 4 powerhouse programs, Arkansas, TCU, Michigan, and Kansas State, are set to battle it out in an epic early season clash. Do not miss your chance to see some of the nation's top teams go head-to-head in high-stakes matchups that will set the tone for the season. All 4 of those teams we have seen, Pat, in the past year at Globe Life Field. Excited for the latest iterations of those clubs.
A lot of talent coming into the building. Of course, this weekend we've already seen some tremendous games, great performances, and then followed up next weekend as well. And then the following weekend, 3 in a row here at Globe Life Field to start this 2025 college season.
Avery Ortiz taking a curve in for a strike. Over under 18.5 hog calls. Pat, that a good number?
That's a pretty good number for the whole weekend. Yeah.
Okay. That's my best handicapping right there on the well-traveling Arkansas fans who will be here.
It'll be loud, that's for sure.
1-1 is fouled straight back. Avery Ortiz had a solo homer last night. 1 for 2 with the single tonight. They move him up from the 9 to the 6 hole. There was thought that Ortiz would stay at second base. That's where he played last year. With how highly touted Brock Thompson was, the freshman coming in at short, but give credit to Ortiz. He's earned the confidence in the coaches to get that shortstop nod to start the season. Little half swing, and he goes. Strike 3 on a good pitch by Lessman.
Yeah, taking a look at it, breaking ball down, catches the bottom of the strike zone. Not sure if Ortiz swung at it or not, but it didn't matter. Ball definitely in the box.
Jared Lessman's 4th punch out, now his 3rd inning of work out of the pen. And we just mentioned Brock Thompson. Here he is. A similar swing to his middle infield counterpart, Avery Ortiz.
Yeah, this is a player that Josh Holliday is really excited about. Said, you know, the backspin he creates when this ball hits his barrel, he says not many guys he's seen do it better. That just ball will continue to carry. Really good gap type hitter at the moment. But as he grows and adds a few more pounds, you can imagine getting in that weight room, it'll make a difference for him.
There's that line drive prowess as Thompson sends it to right center. Stays at first after the hard turn. Coach has told us that that swing produces a ball flight. It's like a 3-wood off the bat. That thing was a laser.
Yeah. Squared it up and exit velo over 105. He had a couple of hits yesterday and just very projectable type player. Definitely see him at the next level, but he's got at least 2 more years here in Stillwater.
He's on base as Ian Doherty comes to the plate. 5 unanswered runs for Oklahoma State, who lead at 5-3. They certainly know that that lead is not safe against a potent team like Louisville, who came from behind in their opener last night, down 2 runs late.
Now you do that against a team like Texas. It just, obviously it's a confidence builder for the team, but can really set the foundation early on when that, that kind of never say die attitude, that can become pervasive.
Doherty hits this one a mile high on the infield, taken by Ali Saya. Louisville figures as a program. That win last night, if nothing else, will go a long way toward boosting their resume come May. A program that missed the postseason last year for the 2nd straight season. The first time that's ever happened under Dan McDonald, who's won over 750 games now in his 19th year as a coach. Just 7-16, Pat, last year against quad 1 teams. And combined with a poor non-conference strength of schedule, that's what kept Louisville out. They did not go down that same path this year, though, as far as the schedule.
Yeah, and they get the benefit this year of playing the ACC. It's going to be a very strong conference across the board. It's becoming a lot like the SEC in terms of strength of schedule, the RPI numbers, all those categories of variables that the committees look at when placing teams in these regionals.
Little cue shot foul.
But yeah, more wins always helps.
It's the great elixir for all programs. Well, since Louisville joined the ACC in 2015, the Cardinals have the most win of any team in that conference. Runner on the move. This one's pounded into left field. Heavy turn. Despite a bobble, they will not send Thompson from first to third. But a nice piece of hitting by Garrett Shull, who has his 2nd hit of the day.
Yeah, Thompson was on the run. It looked like either a hit and run or a run and hit. But Garrett Shull hits such a missile into left field that Thompson pulls up coming around second base. Couldn't anticipate the bobble out there by Zion Rose. And he kept going and would have made it to third base easily. That ball was hit so hard, I think Thompson said, I better put the brakes on.
Second time Shull has reached. That was actually his first hit. So congratulations, Garrett Shull. First career hit as a true freshman. And with Jared Lessman in some trouble, that marks the end of the line as Dan McDonald comes out to take the ball. Lessman gives the Cardinals 2 2/3 out of the pen, and now they prepare to go a little deeper. Ty Stark, the lanky lefty at 6'6", Louisville native, set to come in and make his program debut this season after a really solid 3.72 ERA last year. So 5-3 Oklahoma State as we reset in the bottom of the 6th inning. And like many Louisville pitchers, their traveling fans here in Arlington, a lot of them are giving that opportunity, Pat, to see if they can carve a rollout for themselves in high leverage situations, and Stark is one of many getting that chance. We see him for the first time right now.
Well, that's what the early season is all about. Every coach you speak with will tell you the same story. Hey, we've got a lot of question marks in our bullpen in terms of roles, not stuff, not arms, but just where are these guys gonna chart themselves in. Are they middle guys, back end guys, swing relievers? Could some of these guys potentially turn into starters? Ty Stark, of course, you talked about the lanky build, but good stuff. Comes in with 3.72 earned run average in 19 1/3 innings last year. He's got a shot at picking up more relief innings this season.
There's a good look at Stark as we take a look back. If you're just joining us, been a lot of highlights today and a little bit of everything. First in the field, how about Alex Alicea, the defensive play of the tournament so far?
Yeah, that was outstanding. Just sacrifices his body there, and good thing he got up, and they have a bruised rib or two. He can deal with that.
It was all Louisville early, but this swing changed the game. Colin Brigham goes downtown.
Yeah, deepest home run hit so far in this tournament. Brigham with the no-doubter. He caught all of it. Just a hanging, breaking ball, middle of the plate, and he doesn't usually miss those.
Two veteran head coaches, over 30 years experience combined. Josh Holliday nearing 450 wins. Dan McDonald just passed 750 last year. Those two have so much respect for each other. Both had good careers in their own right. Dan McDonald went to the Citadel back in the early 90s, and his program trying to emulate what Oklahoma State has done, which has been one of the most successful as far as producing major league talent. Louisville actually at the start of last year had the most active players of any college program on MLB rosters. 9 former Cardinals started last year on a big league team.
Yeah, that's really impressive, and consider the World Series ring starting to mount up for some of those guys as well.
Braden Smith back at the top of the order, watches a fastball high.
Well, the best news for Ty Stark, there's no wind, and so there's no chance of him getting blown off the mound. And there's a lot of arms and legs coming at you. Fastball that's going to sit mid to upper 80s, but sweeping slider and changeup are his best pitches.
He does throw to Alicea after the first pitch misses. And comes up and in. 2-0. 16 appearances last year for Stark as a freshman.
That fastball just kept riding in. Braden Smith, and as you can imagine, that low slot, he doesn't throw anything straight, does Ty Stark. It's moving all over the place.
Catches the outside edge. It's funny, we've got the pitch monitors picking up everything. They will say every fastball is a changeup for Ty Stark, even though it's
insult.
a fastball. It only tops out mid-80s, but it's effective the way he deceives hitters.
Absolute
to the count
insult, yeah, to this tall lefty. You got to fix that. All that matters is can you get guys out.
With that slide step delivery, goes slider, and it's a full count. Big moment in the game. Louisville feels like they're just hanging on right now. Have given up 5 straight runs to Oklahoma State. 2 on, 2 out. Top of the order with Braden Smith and a full count.
Yeah, this momentum has really shifted.
Runners go. It's outside on the fastball. And the bases are loaded for Jason Jones in the 2-hole for Oklahoma State.
Well, Stark had the matchup he wanted against the left-handed hitting Braden Smith, but just could not command the fastball. Doesn't get any easier from here.
And the early returns on the change of scenery for Jason Jones, very positive. 3 for his first 7 in a Cowboy uniform as he takes that fastball just inside. And after failing to bat 200 in either of his 2 seasons in Fayetteville as a Razorback. Big hack. I think he was aiming for your house, Pat.
That's right. Wanted to hit that to South Lake. And that was a fastball. This kind of bears in a little bit on the inside corner, but Jones just misses it.
2-1 on the fastball outside. With Nolan Schubert, preseason Big 12 Player of the Year and a projected first-round draft pick next season on deck. Three and one. This feels like the sequence of the game if Louisville has any chance of coming back.
Sure does. Stark is just not dialed in. Jones could get a good pitch to hit here.
Instead he takes. Not close on the fastball. And the one thing you can't do with one of the best hitters in the country coming up is walk the bases loaded in front of him, but that's what happens. Brock Thompson comes around to score it at 6-3.
This game could get away pretty quick.
Colin Brigham, that swing is what turned this game around. Oklahoma State was down 3-0 at the time. They were not after that swing. He's in the hole right now, and his teammate Nolan Schubert already has a couple hits this weekend. Diggs in now with the bases full of Cowboys, and a good time for Louisville to send out pitching coach Roger Williams.
This is one of those really intimate conversations. Only the pitcher and the pitching coach. You don't often see that. We call those motivational speeches.
TJ Schlageter, a lefty, and Brennan Cutts, last year's Missouri Valley Pitcher of the Year at Indiana State, both getting loose. If I was about to face Nolan Schubert with the bases loaded, I could also use some motivation.
Right. Yeah, as in, what do you throw this guy? Well, try to stay out of the middle of the plate. That's tip number one.
And that's off the glove of Tyson. They try to score the runner. Safe. Scholl just gets underneath the tag, and Oklahoma State adds another.
Well, it looked like Ty Stark got there in plenty of time, and they had a play. Taggart Tyson, the ball goes off his glove. It doesn't get too far away. Watch him take a little bit of a stutter step. And I think if Stark sets himself up better around the plate, might have a shot at getting him out, but hey, it looked like he overran home plate.
Really good slide by Scholl, understanding the momentum was taking Stark in the wrong direction. To add insult to injury, Nolan Schubert is still standing in the batter's box. Takes a called strike. You see Braden Smith now at third. Jason Jones behind him at second. Good pitch. Finds the outside edge, 1-2.
A good location of those fastballs. Let's see if Stark comes back with that sweeping breaking ball.
Punch to the right side, falling fast and down to right field. Two more Cowboys will score. It is another big knock for Nolan Schubert.
Well, Schubert got the sweeper. Only problem for Stark was it was up in the zone, just kind of hanging there. And Schubert does a nice job, cuts down that swing. That's one thing the Cowboys have wanted to see him do. Get to 2 strikes and just shorten up your approach. Put the ball in play that time, and it counts for a couple of RBI with 2 outs.
9 unanswered runs for Oklahoma State, as they've blown it open 4 more in the 6th.
That's going to be it for Ty Stark. Well, a chance to see more of your bullpen pieces. Of course, you're trying to win games here, but Dan McDonald said, you know, we've got a lot of options out of the bullpen. They brought 27 pitchers on the trip. They're going to get to see a few more.
Stark gives way to another lefty, T.J. Schlageter, coming in after this. Fourth pitcher of the day for Louisville, looking to put out the fire when we return. Louisville had the early lead, but as you can see, things have gotten away from the Cardinals. 9 unanswered runs for Oklahoma State as we play in the bottom of the 6th. And head coach Dan McDonald for the Cardinals looks for answers from another lefty. Didn't work with Ty Stark, so he goes to the sophomore T.J. Schlageter, making his Cardinals debut. Did not pitch at all last year. The talented 6'2" lefty from Romeoville, Illinois, gets the ball, with his team needing some sort of answer out of the bullpen.
Yeah, Ben, T.J. Schlageter just trying to figure out a way to keep the cap on this Oklahoma State lineup. We talked about how powerful this offense can be, and the Pokes have put up a couple of crooked numbers in between that one spot in the 5th, and have scored a 6-run lead. Nolan Schubert over at first base after his 2-out single and produced a couple of RBI, and Cowboys have opened it up.
Aiden Miola watches the fastball miss. Schubert on first after his 2-run single. Chased Ty Stark from the game as the count's evened at 1-1. This has to be special, though, for Schlageter, pitching in the big league home of the Texas Rangers, because Nolan Ryan was his favorite athlete growing up. Little half swing, and Miola goes 1-2.
And Schlageter not overpowering with the fastball, but relies on a slider and a curveball. Curveball's got some good downward tilt to it. See if he can get to it.
Runner goes as Miola turns on this one, hits it deep to left center, but run down. Zion Rose can cover a lot of ground, and he did so right there. It finally ends the inning. Oklahoma State scores 4 more. They've scored 9 unanswered and lead at 9-3 as we head to the 7th. Cowboy fans happy. It's been a bounce-back Saturday after losing a tight game 6-5 to Clemson yesterday. All Pokes right now. And this is what it means to be an Oklahoma State fan. You buy into the tradition and history. How does that make you feel, Pat, as a Baylor alum, that graphic saying don't poke the bear? Does that hurt a little bit?
Yeah, don't poke the Cowboy, don't poke the bear. Hey, listen, they've had a storied history. There's no doubt about it. Great legacy. This baseball program, great history, and 114 years of baseball at Oklahoma State. And, you think of Oklahoma State baseball, you think of Gary Ward, you think of the Holidays, you think of Incaviglia, Ventura. There's just been a ton of big league players come out of that program.
Taggart Tyson chops one foul to start the 7th. 11 straight regionals for Oklahoma State. 4th best streak in the country. The issue is they've hosted the last 3 regionals. They've had opportunities in all 3, but have not been able to get back to supers in a few years. Some of that is the state of randomness in college baseball postseason, but that doesn't make it any less frustrating for the fan base.
No, not at all. That's been the knock. I think and Josh Holliday would agree. Look, they've had some great teams, great talent. They don't have to ever rebuild. They just reload every year. And they're going to be a postseason team. And now the question is, can they get to that one step further? They've had a couple of supers here last few years. They've had a couple of tough regionals. It's been, some of it's just been matchups. But the other part of that is, you got to be playing your best baseball at that time of the year.
Tyson waves and misses as the count goes to 2-2. Josh Holliday led the Pokes to the College World Series back in 2016. As this one is fisted foul.
They are picked to finish the Big 12 as the #1 team. A few teams will be nipping up their heels this season. I think Arizona's shown up pretty well. They're going to have a strong team. And then TCU, I think, will have a better year this year as well.
Tyson into center. Turned around Braden Smith, but he recovers to make the play. It's hard to believe that this is the first time Oklahoma State has been preseason favorite in the Big 12, at least since they've been doing the polls. Sure, there were a lot of years in the pre-polling era where Oklahoma State was the team to beat in the Big 12.
That's right. For such a storied program, but up and down the conference this year, it's going to be a tough road. You've got, of course, Texas and OU have left the conference, but you bring in Arizona, Arizona State, BYU, Cincinnati, Utah came in as baseball for the previous season. So a lot of change in the Big 12 conference.
Stormy Rhodes out there for another inning in relief, just misses outside 1-1.
We'll see how things play out, but also go back to preseason polls and how much faith you put in those, and there you go.
Well, Cincinnati just had an upset win over Duke yesterday. Little jam shot foul. Those teams that are in the bottom half, they love to be in the bottom half because it means chip on our shoulder.
That's right. Preseason rankings, you can not take those to the bank very often. Yeah, a lot of good talent. Kansas is going to be improved. Kansas State, Texas Tech, obviously, they're always top quarter of the conference. So a lot of great competition in the Big 12.
3-2 the count to Byram Hott. I wouldn't go as far as to say Big 12 baseball will look like Big 12 football relative to the preseason poll. Chop to the left side. Miola, strong throw in time for the second out. You would not complain, though, if the Big 12 postseason ended up looking like the football, since your alma mater, Baylor, 13th in the preseason poll.
Yeah, it worked out pretty good for the Bears. That's right. You just look for improvement. That's what you look for. But hey, again, the preseason stuff, most coaches will tell you just throw it out the door when conference starts.
Alisea, nice poke job to the left side as he goes the other way. 2-out knock for the Cardinals shortstop. If you're a team with high expectations, you say, look, let's focus on us, not listen to the accolades, the high prospects. Meanwhile, if you're a team like Louisville, you felt a little bit disrespected. As you see that knock from Ali Saya. Not ranked, but great recent pedigree under Dan McDonald. Feeling like this is a sleeper team, and they are very comfortable being in their own little cocoon and taking teams by surprise this year.
That's right. You know, and it offers the players the chance to play with a chip on their shoulder, and hey, they know they've got a lot to prove. And Dan McDonald's okay with that. You know, that's sometimes as a coach, you feel like you got to create some motivation, and sometimes it's just flat there. You don't have to do anything. These guys all play with a sense of pride, and they put that uniform on, and they want to go out and do good things, and especially when they're not getting the respect they feel like they deserve.
Called strike taken by Zion Rose. One of the key returners from last year. Roster had to replace 64% of its plate appearances and nearly 3/4 of its home runs. Just outside on 0-2. Hence the word transformation from Dan McDonald. That's the theme word he used in the preseason. But it all centers around a couple of his key returners like Zion Rose. Works the count to 2-2.
Yeah, just like any roster, the big players you count on, like a Zion Rose, a Matt Klein, Eddie King, those guys have to continue to produce at the high level that you expect, but then you've got to have other guys step in.
Rose chases on 2-2, upset with himself on the slider running out of the zone. Stormy Rhodes, couple of shutout relief innings. It's stretch time at Globe Life Field. Oklahoma State on top by 6. Stretch time in Arlington at the home of college baseball, Globe Life Field. The 7th inning stretch brought to you by Amegy Bank. It was a quiet start for Oklahoma State, but their fans have a lot to cheer about. 9 unanswered runs. They lead at 9-3 as we head to the bottom of the 7th. And a team that can score runs in bunches. They have all of those 9 runs, Pat, coming in their last 3 trips to the plate. And the man who started it all, Colin Brigham, his 4th inning grand slam, sees the senior from Smithton, Illinois, at the plate to start this inning.
When you talk to Josh Holliday, and he talks about how enjoyable this team is, and I said, well, what makes it so fun? He said, you know, this team loves to work overtime. These are a bunch of hard-working guys. He says, you know, coaches love when you get worn out. You look back at the end of a day and you go, man, we worked really hard today. So that's really the mantra of this team. They will not get outworked.
A slow curveball in for a strike. Brigham, watch out. That one sent toward the Louisville dugout. Hit off a railing down there and then shot into the outfield. Everybody's okay.
And the Louisville defense getting shifted over to the right. They have moved Jake Monroe closer to second base as we saw that incredible catch by Alex Alicea earlier on. He maintains that position at shortstop, but third base has been vacated.
Good pitch coming inside, ties up Briggerman with a strikeout. First out retired in the 7th. TJ Schlageter got the last out of the 6th in relief. Really nice location on that pitch.
And just kind of tied Briggerman up inside.
Well, the book on Avery Ortiz is that he has sneaky pop. He showed that yesterday with a homer. Hits this one high and deep to left field. Rose running out of room. It's gone. Second homer in as many days for Avery Ortiz.
Well, it's not so sneaky anymore. 2 home runs in 2 days, and you're probably going to see opposing pitching staff start to make some adjustments with Avery Ortiz.
At what point does the sneaky moniker get removed?
You can lose that.
Oh, man.
That ball was tanked as well and jumped all over that first pitch fastball delivery from Schlageter. And yeah, just an elevated fastball.
Oh. 105 miles an hour off the bat as Brock Thompson has to do the Olay. Oklahoma State dugout. They're loving it. They got used to doing that a lot last year. 118 homers. And you can see why in 2 short games this year.
Yeah, nobody gets tired of celebrating that stuff. And you see the prop in the dugout. A lot of power in this lineup.
2-1 count now to Brock Thompson, the talented freshman. A wave and a miss through that pitch at the top of the zone. With a win today, Oklahoma State is on pace with the 10 unanswered runs. Would be their 16th all-time win at Globe Life Field. Josh misses on 2-2. Even though it's been a struggle today on the mound for the Louisville Arms, there's a lot to be excited about, still figuring out who they want in which roles, but coaches feel like this is the best staff they've had in about 5 years. Schlageter paints the inside edge. Nice pitch to get the backwards K.
Yeah, third strikeout for Brock Thompson. This time first one looking, or make it second time he's been looking, but a little period of adjustment as you make it up to this level, and you're going to consistently see those 90-mile-an-hour plus fastballs and breaking balls, a little more bite, tougher spin. Had a great fall. He'll be back.
Ian Doherty flashes a bunt before pulling it back. What stands out to me, Pat, about the Louisville Arms they throw at you, even though they've struggled today, there are so many different looks and there's so much deception. No 2 pitchers are equal in any way for Louisville. That makes it really tough to scout them, as that pitch just misses.
Yeah, a lot of different stuff being thrown, and we saw Detmers, the starter, with really good stuff. I mean, power arm. Then Lessman, kind of the funky delivery and arm angles. Same thing with Stark. Just a different version.
Well, this one's tattooed to left center. Again, Rose gives chase. It's high off the wall and takes a long carom. Doherty digging almost for 3. He put on the brakes very late and trots back to second. Boy, he missed another homer by about 3 feet.
Yeah, that was high off the wall left field, and looked like Zion Rose had a beat on it, but that ball just kept carrying. And Boy, just missed that ball going out by just about a foot, right below that yellow line. Doherty with a big smile, and he's like, Coach, I was heading for 3. I know you were, but sometimes you just got to know your speed.
He's your starting catcher, too. Can't be getting hurt on the base paths either, especially in a 10-3 game. And now Garrett Scholl digs in, who has a great story and just picked up his first career hit earlier today. Takes inside. And Coach Josh Holliday told us there's so many questions recruits often ask, and a lot of times they're not very smart questions. It's, you know, hey, what jersey number can I wear? What sort of snacks do you have in the clubhouse for free? Stuff like that. As the 1-0 bounces in the dirt and then does hit Garrett Scholl. So that forces Doherty to go back to second. But in the case of Garrett Scholl, Josh Holliday told us the one question he asked was, did the new stadium, O'Brate in Stillwater, have handicapped seating? Because his brother is in a wheelchair. Garrett wanted to make sure his brother could come to watch his games and be comfortable. Josh Holliday told us that is the type of kid Garrett Scholl is.
Yeah.
He promised him he would not go into the draft, even though he was a top 40 overall prep recruit. He said he wanted to take Oklahoma State back to the College World Series before he began his pro career, and he was determined to live up to that promise. They love what they have in Garrett Scholl.
Yeah, that's just a super mature, responsible young man, and well, you love that. Every opportunity to go to the next level, and he had made his mind up, and yeah, then just considers, you know, the important things in life, taking care of his brother, make sure he has a good seat in the stadium. What a story.
His younger brother Braden, he will be at basically every game at O'Brate this year. And
good stuff. Well, this Shriners Children's College Showdown it's been a lot of fun to watch up to this point. Still got a lot of baseball left to play. Of course, tonight's game and then 3 tomorrow.
Oklahoma State gets Texas. There might be just a few fans who stick around for the nightcap tomorrow. In what is now a non-conference showdown. As odd as that is to say, I still can't really get around that, but
Get your head around that one, right?
Eventually it'll all make sense. First and second here with 2 outs after the mound visit. Braden Smith watches that pitch just miss.
We'll have the slightly adjusted schedule for tomorrow to help these teams travel, get back to their respective homes. So we'll start 10:30 in the morning. Game 1.
Slow bender that misses. I'm glad I knew that start time, or that you told me. A great weekend here in Dallas. First of 3 weekends of college baseball to kick off the season. Smack to the right side. Nice play by the glove of Matt Klein. The flip is just in time. Good job by the pitcher getting over. And TJ Schlageter covers his ground well, gets out of the inning, but not before Avery Ortiz has done it again. No longer sneaky pop. His second solo shot of this young season. It makes the score 10-3 in favor of Oklahoma State as we go to the 8th. Day 2 of the Shriners Children's College Showdown. A lot of great games. Some fireworks today after lots of pitching and defense yesterday, and it's all here on Flow College. Your college sports have a home on Flow College. Watch more than 12,000 college sporting events from 100 schools and 12 different conferences only on Flow College. You can go to flowcollege.com today to see everything now. And a huge thank you to our entire crew putting in long hours, making sure to capture scenes like that. A bunch of kids with their shirts off, ready for the late innings.
Oh boy, shirts are off already.
Lucas Haskins, Don Cardona, our producer director, Phil Hopwood, doing a great job as always on graphics. Jeremy Hopper making sure that all of Pat's very high level demands and coffee orders are met up here in the booth.
Exactly right. Exactly. Well, we need that that cinnamon dolce latte from Starbucks. That was a pick me up.
There you go. What language are you speaking there?
I know. I'm such not a Starbucks guy, but you know, somebody
when
says,
in Rome,
that's where we're going.
suppose.
That's right.
Yes.
Yep. Take it when you can get it.
Well, still one game to come tonight. Our pals Brant Freeman and Ty Harrington have you covered for the nightcap. Texas and Ole Miss will be a dandy as it's 2-2 on Klein.
Yeah, the former Longhorn Ty Harrington gets to call the horns tonight.
Klein with a sharply hit ball to the right side. Thompson there to make the play. Now, unlike Texas, who view this place as a house of horrors, now 9 straight losses at Globe Life Field. It's the opposite for Oklahoma State. Lots of success here. Last year's Big 12 tournament champs in this venue. And amidst all the conference realignment, they find themselves still right at home and as familiar as anybody with this place come May and postseason.
Yeah, pretty amazing the contrast in records. Both those clubs. Hard to believe Texas has not had success here. Well, they can change that around tonight.
Third inning, by the way, for Stormy Rhodes onto the pen has been very sharp, allowing just a single base hit. 1-1 count here to Jake Monroe.
Yeah, he's looked good. 2 1/3 innings. A couple of strikeouts. He's been pounding that strike zone, keeping the ball down and occasionally changing the eye level, but putting on a clinic right now.
Jam shot to right center. Schubert all over it, makes the catch. 2 quick outs in the top of the 8th. And he got a lot of experience, did Stormy Rhodes, in high school, putting up great numbers as a pitcher, but for a team that didn't give him much run support. He somehow had a losing record despite an ERA below 2.10.
That's hard to do.
5-7, but you can only control yourself as he finds the zone here. Needless to say, Stormy Rhodes gets a little more run support now that he is an Oklahoma State Cowboy. Evens the count at 1-1 as he just misses there.
Well, this hitter, Eddie King, slow start to the season, but he has had 3 pretty solid at-bats today. Nothing to show for it, but a couple of line drives and a ball hit pretty well to center field. And the danger there when you have a start to a season, you're 0 for 8, 4 or 5 strikeouts, and you're going, man, danger is there just to keep your head up and keep battling. It'll change for a guy that's as talented as Eddie King.
He's looked a lot more patient tonight.
Yeah.
Watches that cut fastball catch the outside corner. 2-2. Good eye
hold.
there.
Yeah, it looks a little different tonight. Not as jumpy and seeing the ball better.
He had a series last year, Eddie King, where he hit 5 homers in 3 games, 8 RBI in a sweep of Notre Dame. But waves and misses there. Feeling it right now. And Stormy Rhodes gets his 3rd strikeout in as many innings. Still 10-3 Oklahoma State. Pokes in control as we head to the bottom of the 8th. So many former Texas Ranger greats enshrined in different ways around this park, Globe Life Field. Just like that man, Pudge Rodriguez, who could certainly show off the pop at the plate, couldn't he? And Oklahoma State has done that tonight. 10 unanswered runs after going down 3-0 in the fourth. There's that number 7, immortalized up on the bricks past left center field. It's that time of year, Pat. Pitchers and catchers reporting. Spring training around the corner. College baseball season is here.
It is happening. Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that baseball is starting already in February, but there has been some talk in the college game that they could potentially move the season back. I think a lot of college presidents, of course, a lot of coaches around the country would agree with that. Why can't we start the season, let's say, first weekend of March and take it into July for the College World Series? How about a College World Series final around July 4th? Wouldn't that be cool?
Wouldn't be bad. New pitcher for Louisville, Jake Greger, steps in, gets a foul back on Jason Jones. A couple years ago, Pat, when we were here covering Oklahoma State, Josh Holliday made sure to point out he was helping lead that charge. He would love to see a longer ramp up. A lot of that, too, is for a program like Oklahoma State, such high expectations. And they practice outside in the snow for a good amount of their run up to the season, starting at this time in February.
Yeah, there's so many good reasons to do that, and you will not have any of the northern coaches argue that point at all.
Yeah.
You know, these southern school coaches, they kind of enjoy starting early Feb. You know, it gives them a little bit of a leg up. Of course, a lot of those programs have been outside practicing, as you mentioned, Ben, for a few weeks, and some of these northern schools are they're booked up inside for until April.
Curveball just inside on 1 and 2. It also helps mirror somewhat for the rest of country the prep schedule, because there's a lot of those Midwest states that actually have summer baseball in high school.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And look, you don't lose anything by pushing the season in the summer. You know, you may say, well, that ball's tanked.
An absolute no doubter. Welcome to Stillwater, Jason Jones.
Wow. Well, I think he just eclipsed his teammate Colin Brigham's bomb that he hit back in the 4th inning.
460 off the bat for Jason Jones.
117 miles an hour off the bat. Way up deep in the second deck here at Globe Life Field. Oh my. How about that? Wow. Wow. That's what gets you excited when you watch that guy swing.
Now, Josh Holliday compared some of his hitters like Brock Thompson's swings to a golf club arc. He said Thompson was like a 3-wood. I mean, that would be a Bryson DeChambeau
driver.
Full bore blast driver. Yes, at elevation. 2-0 count here to Schubert.
Tee it high, let it fly. Well, welcome to this level, Jake Greger.
Yeah. Freshman from Louisville.
Yeah, big time prospect is Greger, Louisville native that played at IMG Academy and got a great arm, and he's very projectable to be a starter here in the coming weeks, maybe even months, maybe next year. But yeah, that was a tank.
A lot of fans for the nightcap just filing in. They got a nice surprise out there when a ball just came flying at them. Fastball just misses off the outside edge. 3-1 to Schubert.
You walk into Globe Life Field, people are yelling heads up, and you're thinking, where's that coming from?
That's not BP. That's the real game going on beforehand. Jason Jones with the bomb. Big wave and a miss by Schubert.
Well, Greger's fastball is going to be the low 90s. He'll touch 94 with it. Good curveball. And a slider as well. 3-pitch mix for Greger.
Schubert spoils it foul. That's now 4 homers in 2 games for Oklahoma State. doing their best to match the pace of last year's 118 homers in 61 games, just under 2 a contest.
Yeah, it's up and down the lineup. I mean, there's not a weak link in this Cowboy lineup. You've got Braden Smith, who's got pop at the top of the lineup.
And Schubert rifles that one, won't get out of here, but will get down into the corner. Extra bases for Nolan Schubert, on for a 4th straight time, his 3rd hit.
Yeah, 3rd hit in his last 3 at bats, and Schubert getting hot as well. Yeah, fastball inside and just gets his hands through the pitch.
Fourth hit of the young season for Nolan Schubert. Remember when I was saying some scouts worry that his swing gets a little long and you can jam him with fastballs inside?
He was sitting on that one.
So much for that.
Yeah.
Another look at Aiden Miola, who takes a called strike. We shared the story earlier today of Aiden's resilience, 3 concussions in a year span. Now he's been able to come back, career average of .324, who gives this team another look and plays with that swagger that rubs off on the rest of his teammates. Here he fouls it back. But what's interesting about his journey and the concussions he had to deal with is his coach Josh Holliday knows that feeling, although he played an era before concussions were ever a thing or really thought about. Josh had a pretty bad head injury in the 1996 Big 8 championship game at a collision at the plate. Went to the hospital, and as this pitch is taken for a ball outside, he's been very open about understanding what that's like for Miola, especially in an era now where there is so much caution and you have to pass so many tests and be judged able to come back in, unlike in Holliday's day where they just said, all right, rub some dirt on it, get back out there.
Yeah.
Poke to the left side. Monroe charges and makes the play.
Yeah, just a whole different set of protocols, and so much now known more so with all the TBI and all the things that we've seen with soldiers, and same thing with athletes, right? You get knocked on the head, you see stars, and you go, wow, I just blacked out for a moment, but I'm okay. Well, pretty good sign of a concussion when that happens, and yeah, good news that they've got the medical technologies caught up to all that. But yeah, for a guy like Miola, having those 3 concussions in such a short amount of time, that was the danger, right? The risk of, now what happens if you get out there too soon and it happens again, and you start looking at what kind of damage can be caused going forward.
They're so glad to have him back healthy, slotted in that 4 spot as Brigham takes a pitch just outside, 1-1. And he was slated to be our player of the game. He had the go-ahead grand slam after all. There were some whispers, at least there are down in our production truck, like, yeah, maybe there could be a Jason Jones, could be some other guys, because there have been a lot of offense ever since that bomb.
Yeah, you've got a couple of players that 3 hits apiece, and Jones and Schubert. Ortiz a couple with the home run, and of course Brigham with the big bomb. That was a difference maker, though. That turned the game around.
Brigham was hunting there as he tops that changeup foul, 2-2.
Yeah, 13 hits in total for the Cowboys and 11 runs on the board.
Even though it's been a struggle today, has to be so nice for Dan McDonald. Get some local kids into his program who can contribute on the mound. Jake Greger follows Ty Stark, a couple Louisville kids, and they actually played together at the powerhouse St. X in the area. Greger then finished his high school career at IMG Academy. This one shot under the glove of Monroe at third. Brigham in a hard turn, digs for second and gets in safely as Schubert stands at third.
We'll see how that scored. It looked like a play it should have been made by Monroe, and of course has made some spectacular plays so far in this tournament, but that ball sneaking under his glove, and he definitely should have at least knocked it down. So it should go down as an E5.
And it will. Second error of the game on the Cardinals defense. Ooh, watch out, comes up and in on Avery Ortiz. That was a curveball that got away. And its bases loaded now with one out.
Yeah, you could tell just right when he left his hand, he had lost the grip. Breaking ball just backs up on him and plunks Ortiz right in the middle of the back.
It's freshman v. freshman now, but you don't envy the position Jake Greger is in. Just trying to get his team through this game in what's gotten away from the Cardinals, who led it at one point 3-0. Will earn a trip out to the mound from Dan McDonald.
Yeah, that could be it. And they have already made the call, so Greger will exit. 3 Cowboys are his responsibility.
We got to see this young freshman yesterday at the plate. We're about to see him as a pitcher. Tate Davis enters the fray when we return. Oklahoma State up 11-3. The scoring has all come since the 4th inning. Pat, ever since then, Oklahoma State has blown things open.
Yeah, there's been no answer from Louisville, and part of it has been their own doing. Quite a few free bases, but then Oklahoma State offense just came alive and started making solid contact. Put together just strings of hits, and a couple of big swings. Back to the 4th inning, Colin Brigham with the big grand slam that got things started, and it has been nothing but Cowboys since.
Throw back to the mound, got past Tate Davis, who's our new pitcher, but no harm, no foul. Tate got the start last night at the plate. Starting first baseman in his collegiate debut, went 0 for 4, struck out all 4 times, but this is what makes him special. 6'4" freshman who can pitch as well. Another lefty option. It seems like Dan McDonald has about a dozen of them out in the pen. Chop to the left side, could be 2. They go home for the sure out, and will just get 1. As Brock Thompson grounds into the fielder's choice, Schubert out at home.
Yeah, nice job by Monroe, fielded cleanly and chooses to get the lead option rather than try to turn 2. Ball was hit sharply, but to his backhand side near third base. So He goes home, keeps the run off the board. A couple of outs in the inning.
You see Brigman now over there at third. And Ian Doherty getting another crack at it with the count 1-0. Really good all-around athlete out of Kingfisher, Oklahoma, which is about an hour southwest of Stillwater. Showed some flexibility there, getting out of the way of the 91-mile-an-hour fastball. And by all accounts, Tank Davis figures to be more of a hitter, but he certainly has ability in both ways. He falls behind 3-0. I suppose time will tell, right?
Well, that's what the, a lot of these early season appearances are for. Can he be a legitimate two-way player? Or the question is, should we just allow him to focus on hitting? Well, the arm plays. I mean, it's 91, 92 on the gun. And now the question is, can he do both?
4-pitch walk plates another run as Doherty drives one in and has reached safely 3 times. (12-3) Cowboys. Garrett Scholl gets another AB. He has enjoyed quite the first collegiate start. A walk, a single, a run scored, a hit by pitch. And he just provided a young fan with a souvenir. Doing his part for everybody tonight. Chopper to the right side. Hott makes the play. Little underhand flip to Matt Klein. Ends the inning. A 5th straight frame with at least a run for Oklahoma State. They've blown it wide open. 12-3 lead heading to the 9th. Last ups for Louisville in the top of the 9th. Oklahoma State rolling ever since the 4th inning with 12 unanswered runs. A lot of offense. We've had at least one team in our first 2 games put up double-digit runs. Will that continue next? Ole Miss and Texas. Rebels won a tight 1-2-1 over Arizona last night. Texas was stunned. We're an out away from beginning the Jim Schlossnagle era with a dub, but ended up going down to Louisville in walk-off fashion in 10 innings, 4-3. Everybody trying to stay loose. We were doing some of that during commercial breaks. Don't worry. You won't have to see it. That's the good thing. And we get a new pitcher after 3 very effective innings for Stormy Rhodes. 3 innings, just 1 hit allowed. He gives way to a new pitcher some believe might be in the rotation at some point. Mario Pesca from St. John's, the transfer.
Yeah, Pesca with a commanding presence on the mound. 6'8", 275. Transfer from St. John's, and an outstanding year last year for the Red Storm in 15 starts. So there you go, Ben. That could be a potential Sunday starter, maybe a midweek starter for the Cowboys. That high 3/4 slot. A sinking fastball comes in low 90s and a slider in the mid 80s.
Good looking pitcher at 6'8". Really comes downhill on hitters as he faces a pinch hitter here. Works inside, and it's 3-1 to Nate Early, a Cincinnati native. Started his career at Ohio State, never took the field though for the Buckeyes. Transferred, went the JUCO route in Florida. Cracks this one to left center, but got under it. Show coming in, makes the catch for the first out. Pesca, lots of success at St. John's on the first team All Big East. Last year, 6-1, sub-3 ERA in 15 starts. He's certainly used to going deep into games. He'll start this year cleaning things up at the end of the game in the pen. As we see Lucas Moore dig in, he was the hero last night, had that walk-off base hit, now in as a pinch hitter. Good breaking ball on the outside edge. Just upstairs for Pesca. Gets the swing and a miss. Moore down on strikes, and Louisville's down to its final out. Good first look for Mario Pesca in his debut.
Yeah, good fastball up in the zone, and if you're Lucas Moore, you've been sitting there for about 3 hours waiting for your shot, and then you gotta come in facing this guy throwing 92, 93 with a nasty slider. Not an easy roll.
Got to give Pesca a lot of credit for how on brand he is for someone who is from the Bronx. He started his career at St. John's in New York. His favorite TV show, The Sopranos.
There you go.
On brand.
Hey, that speaks a lot. Yeah.
I mean, what other show could it possibly be?
Got to back up the La Familia.
And his stuff is legit. 1-1 the starter. We get a first look at George Baker, another one of those many catcher options for Louisville. Gets a pinch hit appearance. Called strike 2. Coaches believe he's the best defensive catcher on the roster. And of all these teams we prep for, Pat, nobody with more options, it seems like, than Louisville. As the 1-2's chopped to the left side, this should do it. Miola with the throw, and it's over. Oklahoma State on the board in 2025. They come from behind to score 12 unanswered runs and take it 12-3.
Yeah, just an outstanding day for the Oklahoma State offense. You know, they get down early in the game, 3-0, and then they just explode. And they take over the game. It was the Brigham Young grand slam, but then they just kept adding on, and that offense never took a rest. And big win for Oklahoma State, Josh Holliday and the Cowboys.
It's an obvious sign of what to expect going forward against Oklahoma State. You can't just score a few runs and expect like that'll hold up for 9 innings. This team is so deep, so talented, with power from top to bottom in the order.
Yeah, no doubt. And a great pitching performance, too. Harrison Bodendorf get the win today, and great bullpen work from Rhodes and Pesca. So some question marks being answered at least early on in this season for Josh Holliday. You'd like to see some more performances like that. They'll have another shot tomorrow.
You could argue only one of those runs really should have happened for the Oklahoma State pitching. There was an error back in the third that extended the inning. Pretty spotless, only 5 hits given up, just 2 walks compared to 9 strikeouts for Cowboy pitching. And that's the big question mark, right? You replace so many quality arms, all 3 weekend starters, best staff in the Big 12 last year. What would you be getting from Oklahoma State in 2025? And the first 2 games have been very solid for the Cowboys.
Yeah, you need to get plenty of offense. That power is legit up and down the lineup. And look, you know, other side for Louisville, they had the big win last night. They come back today. The pitching wasn't quite what they needed it to be today. But as you mentioned, Ben, a few times, a lot of quality arms coming out of that bullpen, and that team can play as well.
You see Josh Holliday with the post-game huddle, win number 446. He's a little over halfway to his former head coach, Gary Ward, 953. And Josh Holliday, longest tenured coach since the guy who he came up under in Gary Ward. And Oklahoma State will now turn around and prepare for a huge showdown against Texas tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to take a while for Josh to catch his old mentor, but
yeah, just a little bit.
That's a long tenure, but what a great job by the Cowboys to turn around today. They lost a 1-run game yesterday. Of course, the big game against University of Texas. There should be some noise here tomorrow night when the Cowboys take the field against the Burnt Orange.
A lot of orange in the stands tomorrow as Oklahoma State gets the dub on the board with win number 1. Well, there was a lot of discussion who would be the player of the game when you have a team go off 13 hits, lots of different run production. You could argue a lot of different players were deserving, but it will be the man who hit a 460-foot rocket deep into the setting sun. Jason Jones will be our player of the game. His first home run in an Oklahoma State uniform. Had to feel so good for the Arkansas transfer. As we send it down to our Leanza Perroni taking it away from down on the field.
An absolutely electric win today, from Collins' grand slam to your first home run in a Cowboys uniform. Walk me through that pitch and what you saw before you sent it out of the park.
Yeah, so I was definitely seeing the ball well today, and I just got a pitch over the middle with my 2-strike approach that I love. And our coach prepares us very well before the game for pitches we might see and what counts. So I saw it up and got my best swing off.
12 unanswered runs for the Cowboys. How electric is that dugout when the bats get hot?
I mean, it definitely sets a tone. We work hard every single day, day in, day out, and it's just building momentum. It's just a start right now, and this team is it's electric, a very fired up team, and we're just out there just trying to have fun.
16 all-time wins for the Cowboys here in Globe Life Stadium. What does it mean to you to be a part of such an incredible legacy and such an incredible venue?
It's a home away from home for the Cowboys. We love it here. I especially love it here, being from Texas. I know that we're going to be here later on in the year, and we're going to be doing some more exciting stuff. So it's definitely an honor to be playing for this tournament, especially with the Shriners and in this park. It's awesome.
Great win today.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Leanza. Outstanding victory for Oklahoma State. They lost their first game of the year. We're down 3-0, a little bit of concern, but sure enough, the bats woke up. 12 unanswered runs, despite some great plays in the field by Louisville, as Oklahoma State wins 12-3 over the Cardinals. So for Pat Combs, Leanza Perroni, rest of our outstanding crew, Don Cardona, Lucas Haskins, Phil Hopwood, Jeremy Hooper, everybody else behind the scenes, I'm Ben Wilson saying so long. One more game still to come tonight. Our pals Brent Freeman and Ty Harrington take it away in about an hour as Texas takes on Ole Miss in the nightcap right here on Flo College.
have to